Are unmistakable. The purple and silver of Western and the tricolor of Queens. Symbols of dominance in both athletics and academics. And two of this country's richest football traditions.
Falls looking end zone touchdown.
Today, Michael Falls leads Western into a hostile homecoming environment as the Mustangs look for their 12th straight win over OUA competition.
Off to the races is Mike Giffen. Touchdown, Queens.
While Mike Giffen and the Gaels seek revenge for last year's playoff defeat, the conference's last two unbeaten teams will write a new chapter in this age-old rivalry. It's the 4-0 Mustangs and the 4-0 Gaels in a battle for OUA supremacy.
Queens homecoming 2008. We coming home again.
University Rush, live on the score. Starts now.
They are all here to see the only two undefeated teams in Ontario. The score is at Richardson Stadium in Kingston for the Gaels and the Western Mustangs. Mike Moriali, I'm Tim McAuliffe, and Mike, you need look no further than the OUA standings to figure out just how big a game this is at Queens homecoming. Western and Queens both sitting atop the conference with 4-0 records, looking to solidify home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Quite simply, they don't get much better than this, and they don't get much better than the Queens offense. In fact, they don't, period. And it all starts with the nation's leading rusher, Mike Giffen.
Yeah, Mike Giffen combines a rare combination of size, speed, and strength that make him truly a dominant force in the CIS. And what Pat Sheehan said is when he came back from the Ticats, he brought a new attitude and a new appreciation for the game.
And it's not just the ground game here in Kingston. Quarterback Danny Brannigan and wideout Scott Valberg are also tearing up the stat sheet.
Yeah, from leading rusher to leading pass-catch combo, it's a nice position for the Queens offense to be in. Brannigan can look back to hand off in the backfield, and that opens up the pass game for him, and Valberg's usually the target.
As if that weren't enough for the Gaels, they also boast a defense that employs the national leader in sacks, D. Sterling.
And that's what opposing coach Greg Marshall calls a one-man wrecking crew. D. Sterling has had a knack all seasons for getting in the backfield, getting sacks, and getting hurries.
As if the nation's leading passer, rusher, receiver, and sack specialist wasn't laying down the gauntlet enough. But if there's one team in the nation equipped to stopping that or handling it, at least it is the Western Mustangs, who rank third in the nation in offense, and they're led by senior quarterback Mike Falls.
Right, and Mike Falls has done a great job this year, running with his feet, throwing with his arms, and he's done a great combination of spreading the ball around to all his receivers and in the backfield as well.
And Falls has done it this year with a young receiving core. But week to week, it seems like they are getting better and better, as evidenced by freshman Nick Travail.
And Nick Travail leads what is a great recruiting class for receivers this year for Western. And his play has really elevated the play of Zach Bull, Jesse Bellamy, and allows Falls to pass that ball along.
The number 2 team in the nation unusually relies on some diaper dandies, and on defense, tackle Mike Van Prate has taken the conference by storm.
Yeah, and Van Prate's another outstanding rookie for the Western Mustangs. 6 foot, 300 pounds. He's an absolute plug on the D-line, and he really makes the game a lot easier for Von Martin on the other side.
It's almost too good to be true. 2 of the top 4 teams in the nation, 2 of the top 3 offenses in the nation, and a great crowd for homecoming. Almost the perfect storm for Queens coach Pat Sheehan, who's standing by with a third member of our team, DJ Bennett. DJ?
Coach, the skies have opened up here just before game time. Similar to weather last time you played Western here. What will your team have to do differently to come away with a victory?
Better play a little bit better than the last time the skies opened up. I thought that Western did a great job controlling the football against us last time. We're obviously going to have to get our share of time of possession. I think if we do that, we'll have more than enough opportunities to win the game.
Homecoming here, 2 teams ranked in the top 5, undefeated, a big game. Do you remember a big game of this magnitude so early in the season before?
Well, it certainly is a huge game with a lot of consequences for both teams. I'm happy it's here, and I think that for all Kingston and Queens football fans and college football fans across the country, it's a great event.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Back up to Tim and Mike in the booth.
Last week in Guelph, we had a sellout of over 7,500. This week in Kingston, over 10,000 at Queens homecoming to see 2 of the top teams in the nation live on the score. Homecomings in this country. Richardson Stadium in Kingston for the Queens Golden Gaels and the Western Mustangs. Today's game conditions brought to you by Centaur Products, your sports contracting specialist and provider of quality sports fields and facilities since 1973. Rain on and off again here in Southern Ontario as Pat Sheehan and Coach Greg Marshall get ready to go toe-to-toe. Last year in the OUA playoffs, quarterfinal action, the Western Mustangs upset the Queens Golden Gaels on this very turf, something Coach Sheehan said they've been talking about for the last 8 months, Mike.
Yeah, you certainly don't forget games like that. Game's kind of reminiscent. There's some rain falling here today. And last time we talked to Coach Marshall, he mentioned that the running game is actually more difficult in situations like this. Tough to hold on to the football and tough to pass as well. So it remains to be seen, but we have a great game in our hands today.
Be a great time to get their vengeance here at homecoming as we are underway. Low line drive, a kick taken at the 15 by the Western Mustangs. Tremblay, he'll take it out to the 29-yard line where we get our first look at Michael Faulds and this Western offense. Faulds leads a unit that is coming off a 600-yard outing in a 71-0 win over York, but hits the field today without their leading receiver, Nick Pasick, who's back in London with a concussion. The real strength of this unit is up front. While left tackle Richard Zulis was a 5th-round pick of the Argos, freshman Norman and Jeridat have helped UWO put up over 210 rush yards a game in their 4-0 start. Faulds will start with nobody in the backfield, throw and complete to the wide side. Tackle is made quickly. Maybe a gain of 2 on the play for Nick Travail as he gets involved offense. The Queens defense surrounds D. Sterling with some talent, including the draft-eligible Osi Ukwoma, who was an All-Canadian last year as a sophomore. Thane Carter leads the team in tackles in the secondary. Jimmy Allen has to be the steadying force for a group that features 3 first-year starters, including freshman Josh Sultana, who gets the nod at the corner. It might be a spot that Western goes after in this game. Faulds the throw. It is a screen pass to John Leckie. Not much available there, and Western will have to punt as the Golden Gaels, or now just Gaels, force a punt on the first possession.
Yeah, good job by the Queens defense, getting the 2-0 early, getting the ball back, setting up for some good field position for the Queens offense as well.
So the Gaels not only with new uniforms, but apparently taking the golden out of the Golden Gaels, which has been hit with a little bit of controversy. Some of the alumni feeling they still need to be golden. Wheeler in the punt. It is a high kick. He's one of the best in the nation. And it will be taken at the 35. Jimmy Allen taking it straight up across the 45 to the 46. Great field position as we look at the nation's #1 offense brought onto the field by senior Danny Brannigan. We've talked about the big guns, but keep an eye on the big guy, number 83, Scott Stinson, 6'5", 250, and he can hurt you down the seam. Brannigan works behind one of the nation's biggest O-lines. Boyle, DeCivita, Betterman, Hoitis, and O'Donnell average, and I say average, 6'5", 310. That's good for some pro programs.
That is a big line.
Brannigan in the shotgun on first down. We've heard about the hands of Giffen, and he drops a wet pigskin. That was a lateral, so they will lose almost 10 yards as we look at a Western defense that ranks 4th in the nation, thanks in part to a great front 7 that includes Vaughn Martin, who started his university career at Michigan State, and linebacker Jonathan Hood, a 4th-round pick of the Eskimos, who missed 2 weeks with an ankle injury. In the back end, safety Matt Carapella often arrives at the football in a rather bad mood. And don't sleep, the senior can turn it over. He led the nation in picks back in 2006, already has 2 this season, and is 3rd all-time in CIS history. So it's 2nd and long, zipped from Brannigan into the hands of Valberg. He is dropped by the aforementioned Jonathan Hood. It's a gain of 14, but it'll bring up 3rd and 6. So both defenses, despite the fact that we have 2 of the top 3 offenses in this game, stand tall and force a 2-and-out early, Mike.
And that's all you want from your defense here. They'll give up the 14-yard route underneath and rally up to save it. John Hood comes up, makes a sure tackle, force another punting position for now for Queens.
Dan Village will perform the punting duties out of Abbotsford, BC. Average of 38 on the season. He stands and is a fake to the up back. And Queens has a first down and more. Jimmy Terry it into Western territory as Pat Sheehan pulls the trigger early.
And that's the field position you want if you're going to pull a fake. Anytime you're in the 45, 50-yard line, perfect position. They were still about 6 yards short. Tarian does a good job here. Good blocking of field. Just outruns the Western defenders.
A 20-yard gain on third down for Jimmy Tarian. And that offense gets another crack. Giffen, the lone setback. And he'll get his first chance carrying the rock. The cut back lane available, but Corey McNair, the Mustangs' leading tacker, closes it quick after a gain of 3 as we look at your game keys, Mike.
And first of all, we talk about define the line. This is for Western. Western O-line really needs to have a great day against the pressure of the Queens front 7, and they don't have that running back in the backfield like Queens does, so they really got to step up their game today. Close the gap. Queens needs a big game out of their secondary, especially their 2 corners. They have to play some tighter coverage on the outside and not give up the 6 to 7 yard passes and save it first. A win today will be huge for first place moving toward the playoffs.
And home field advantage. Brannigan to the air, looking to the flats for Stinson. Just missed him. The coverage provided by Craig Butler of the Western Mustangs.
Second down again, and a possible field goal situations. We see the Queens Gaels running on the field. The Village so far has a long of 42 yards this year, and this looks to be about a 42-yard attempt.
So in the wet conditions, it looks like they'll punt. Might not be a bad idea to play that battle with field position or of field position early. So Village stands on the Western 49-yard line. Look to the Mustangs, end over end kick. It'll take a hop at the 10. And at homecoming, a Queens bounce out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Early here, knotted at 0 at Richardson Stadium. The Queens Golden Gaels unable to capitalize on a 20-yard run on the fake punt from Jimmy Tarian. They hem Western deep into their own zone as the Mustangs get their second possession of the football game. Falls, fakes the handoff, throws to the outside and completes. Zach Bull on the reception. Good enough to move the sticks near the 18-yard line.
Yeah, good play there by the Western offense. Little play fake in the backfield. Zach Bull is the guy who last year in the Yates Cup tore his knee in that huge play near the end of the game. First game back was against Waterloo, and he gives that consistency to the receiver spot.
And they're going to need him with Nick Pasick out, their leading receiver. 19 receptions, 370 yards, 5 touchdowns for Pasick. He's at home watching as the Stangs go to work. Fogs rolling to the left, comes back to the right, looking for Bull again. And it's knocked away at the last second by that first-year corner, freshman Josh Sultana.
Good job by Sultana breaking at the ball at the end of this play. A little bit of an errant pass. Faulds looked to the field first and came back weak. Tremblay was open in the flats. It's a long throw out there, and Sultana does a good job closing at the end.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs offense. Working from the 20. Falls again to the air. Goes right through the hands of his intended receiver, Mike Haggerty. So it appears as though both teams are having problems gripping the rock.
Yeah, it's a wet game. The rain continues to fall. We haven't seen a lot of run game by Western. They've gone kind of immediately to the pass game, which is interesting. They're maybe trying to establish something or see something in that defensive secondary of Queens they can attack.
So Wheeler, who attended the Blue Bombers training camp this year, comes in to punt high, snap. It'll go over his head, and he might be smart just to fall on it. They will concede the safety, and Queens gets the first points of this football game. And again, that slippery rock sliding out of the hands of the long snapper and passed.
And that just goes to show you how important special teams are, what a big component of the game they really play. 2 big plays on special teams so far has got field position for Queens on the fake punt, and now that field position results in the snap over the head and the 2 points.
So Western will kick off after the early 2 points, and the rain picks up once more. Here is Greg Marshall's crew. Tries to rectify the situation.
That's the problem when you're giving up the safety. Not only do you give up the points, but now the opposing team has the option of taking the ball at the 35 or returning a kickoff.
So the Western Mustangs, who come in 4-0 after last season beginning at 0-4. Then going on to the Yates Cup and the Mitchell Bowl, the national semifinals, after reeling off 4 straight.
Just goes to show you, doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish in this league, and you got to get into the playoffs and make something happen there.
Wheeler with the kickoff. Jimmy Allen, a very talented return man. From the 13, gets the corner, no flag as he goes to the 35. And past the 40-yard line. Allen could beat you in so many ways on defense, but on special teams, he may be his most dangerous.
Certainly. He was certainly moving there to get that sideline. This was a set wall to the right, to the field return, as we call it. And that was set up from the get-go. Some good blocking at the point of attack. Close call there on a bit of clipping when Western defender went down. But a positive return for the Gaels in good field position.
They'll start from the 41. Brannigan in the shotgun. Mike Giffen straight up the gut, showing a bit of that power off as he rips off 4, maybe 5 yards on first down. 6'2", 234 out of Kingston, Ontario. Mike Giffen picked up by the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Certainly, and he wasn't happy with what happened when they let him go. And I'm certainly sure he's trying to prove something this year that they made a mistake.
Well, it'll be really interesting because with Lumsden there, the situation is tough for a Canadian back.
For a true starting tailback, that's for sure.
And Giffen's kind of the tweener guy. He's big enough to play fullback, big enough to play tailback as they can't complete on second down. But with rumors of Jesse perhaps moving on in the offseason, the signing of Kenton Keith, things might open up for Giffen in Hamilton.
Well, the truth is, anytime you're a Canadian player coming up to play in the CFL, or an American player for that matter, your first impressions have to be on special teams. It doesn't matter if you've been the pro and the stud in any game you've played in the university level. You're
offside
playing with a bunch of pros and
on the offense is declined. Third down.
And you really have to make an effort to work hard on those special teams.
So Village in to punt, presumably.
Yeah, it's still pretty good field position, but I'm guessing they'll come back to that later on, possibly.
Yeah, I don't think Western will fall for it twice in a row. Village. The deep kick. Chase Butler back to his own 20. Spins off a tackle at the 25. Western will work from their own 27 when we return to homecoming here at Queens. The Western Mustangs 2-0 in the early going here at Richardson Stadium in Kingston. Mike Folds with a 3 of 5 start as Western is taken to the air early and often. And as we say, that little end around going to Tremblay, and nothing is available.
Reverse to Tremblay.
Queens Golden Gaels sniffed that out, a loss of 2. It's the man we talked about, D. Sterling, on the tackle.
D. Sterling is the stud defensive lineman that's going to be in that backfield of Western Mustangs all day long. Seems like a little early to call a little change of pace play there without establishing anything else, but perhaps they saw something that they were going to attack. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
And it's surprising how they haven't gone to the teeth of this defense. Folds to the air. Zach Bull, another reception. This time near the 40-yard line. It'll be good for a first down and a gain of 12.
Very well-run route here by Zach Bull. In wet and slippery conditions, the receivers always have the advantage of knowing where they're going to be. At the last second, he plays a nice stick move at the end, and Sultana slips. That's what gives him the separation to make the catch.
So Western working with a 1st and 10. Duff the motion back. Fake the handoff, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Osiu Kwoma got his big mitts up.
Another one of the big key defensive linemen for the Queens Gaels. And they're keep faking that handoff with the play action. I don't know. They haven't established a run game. It's tough to run play action early.
Is that an option for Falls, perhaps?
It almost looked there were some linemen downfield, and it looked like they were possibly setting up a screen. But as this one comes back, and the flag is against the Mustangs.
Holding on the offense. First down repeated.
Big battle of field position here is definitely playing in the Gaels' favor.
As we hit the halfway point of the first quarter, Queens leading 2-0. First and 20. Again, play action. Falls this time looking deep. Looking for Travail. And just off his fingertips as he had a step.
Nice throw by Falls here. Offensive line does a good job giving him pressure as he goes over the top. And Travail has almost 2 steps on Sultan. You can really see them attacking the corners of the Queens defense. And this is something we talked about a bit when we talked to Greg Marshall the other day. And so far it's true to form.
Well, the rain has eased up. And Western surprisingly going against it by throwing the ball early and often. 2nd and 20. Falls hit as he throws, and it showed. A flag comes down late. Michael Botting there on the coverage. He turns around in disbelief.
I'm going to suggest that's a pretty questionable call. Botting was there early, but they were both stopped. He was just reaching up to go for the football. It's going to be against Botting for sure.
Maybe the offhand, Mike.
Yeah, we'll have to see how we attacked it. Generally, you lead with your left arm.
Pass interference on the defense. First down.
There's no question Botting was in the end of the play early. Right on his back. Let's see how he attacked the football. It's the right hand reaching around the waist of Travail. That's what gets Botting. The left hand was fine. It's the right hand around the waist. Good call by the officials.
It gives Western a first down at their own 44-yard line. As the Mustangs look to counter. Acting early safety. Falls. Under pressure. Chris Smith in his face. He just dumped it towards the middle and did a good job just to get it to the feet of John Leckie.
Yeah, Chris Smith came upfield very quickly. He had a blitz on. Falls was looking to roll to the field, had to pull back up and roll back, and really there was nothing left because Chris Smith was all over.
Chris Smith, a very versatile defender for the Golden Gaels. In fact, in 06, he was listed as a linebacker, safety, halfback, punter, and receiver.
Must be a pretty good athlete. The more you can do.
In his 3rd year of Toronto St. Mike's, he forces a 2nd and 10. Falls, steps up, delivers the ball. 2 men in the same area. Haggerty was the intended receiver. I'm curious as Western continues to sling the rock.
Yeah, and they're getting the Queens Gaels are getting some great pressure up front, definitely, and making Falls kind of pull down the ball a little bit early. But they're trying to go deep all the time. We talked about the corners playing soft for Queens. It might be beneficial to hit some 6-7 yard patterns first before you go for the 15-yarders.
Another snap goes over the head of Darrell Wheeler. He'll try and pick it up, loses the ball, and Queens recovers. Once again, the exchange between Connor Elliott and Darrell Wheeler results in a big break for the Gaels.
Huge break for Queens. Another bad snap sends Wheeler running backwards, and anytime a kicker is running the opposite way, that's never a good sign. He goes to pick it up whether or not he fumbled the ball or not. Queens is getting the ball right there. Good pressure upfield as well by the Queens special teams. We always talk about it every game. that we call how important special teams are.
1/3 of the game, and because of it, Pat Shane's boys have a first down and goal to go from the Western 10. Double tight end set. Giffen breaks the tackle and is inside the 5-yard line. Josh Foster makes the touchdown saving tackle for now.
That really shows the kind of strength and size that Giffen has. He's immediately stopped at the line of scrimmage. Western does a good job closing it, but he keeps his feet moving, bounces to the outside. Good tackle by Foster to limit him to a non-touchdown.
Second down, goal to go, as Giffen, who leads the nation in scoring with his 8 touchdowns on the season. Brannigan in the shotgun. He'll look elsewhere. End zone. And is he in? Waiting for the signal. They'll mark it out at the 1.
Wow, be curious to see. Remember, in Canadian football, it's only the nose of the football that has to break the front plane of the goal line. So inevitably, they'll bring it back to the 1 if it's not across.
Stinson made the reception.
Oh, anytime you knock the pylon over, more often than not, that's a touchdown.
Queens will leave the offense out there. Big play early. 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Full house backfield. If you got the nation's leading rusher, maybe you give it to him. Giffen, touchdown.
Good job up front by the Queens offensive line. Really get some good penetration. Good lead blocks by the fullbacks as well. And Giffen just walks into the end zone.
Literally untouched is Mike Giffen for his 9th touchdown of this young season. And the Golden Gaels look to make it a 9-0 lead early here at homecoming.
Special teams already playing a huge factor.
The kick is good, and you can see the crowd behind the fence because they can't get in. Sold out here at Queens, and happy early. For a 9-0 Queens lead here at homecoming, Richardson Stadium in Kingston. Tim McAuliffe beside Mike Morreale, DJ Bennett along the sidelines. We hope you're enjoying this live coast to coast in the Score Television Network. And this is what CIS football is all about. Over 10,000, second straight sellout on the Score. And the Gaels with a moonshot on the ensuing kickoff. Taken by Duff Yatback. He'll take it across the 40-yard line as we go down to DJ Bennett. DJ.
Yeah, I'm good. I got him.
DJ.
Mike, 5th-year guy, you said to me this is why you came back to play Western at homecoming.
Oh, this is what it's all about. These conditions aren't too ideal, but we just got to keep running the ball, I think, and we'll be doing well.
It's a good start early. What do you need to continue to keep it up?
Defense all the way, though. We forced 2 bad snaps. I think that was up front, and we just got to keep playing like we are.
This is a man who wants to get revenge. Back up to you guys.
Thank you.
He's rushed for over 115 yards in 13 of his last 14 games. The only time he was held under it was against Western. Looking deep for Jesse Bellamy. Knocked away on a good play by David Rooney.
Great coverage by David Rooney as Western continues to go over the top. A little curious about what they're trying to set up. Certainly they're not taking anything underneath. They're going over top on the home run every time. Good position by Rooney at the last second. Turns his head and knocks the ball away.
4 straight incompletion for Falls. He's going to pass again. On the run, delivers the football. Bellamy steps back towards the middle of the field at the 55 with a flag down in the holding area.
Something went on in the backfield. Will be holding against Western, which nullifies what was a good play. The couple times that Falls has rolled out and thrown the comeback to the outside, it's been there. It's the deep shots that they haven't been able to capitalize on. You know, we went to We listened to Giffen talk on the sidelines and said, what's the key to winning the game? He
Holding
said, running the football.
on the offense. Second down repeated.
That's spoken like a true running back. If you ask me, it's called passing the football.
Spoken like a true receiver. Did mention at the end the defense as well. So if you go by the old adage that most coaches do, run the ball, stop the run, you're looking good. Western's gone with the Mike Moriarty offense thus far. Chucking it. Second and 20, they will chuck again. And Bull is absolutely mauled at the Queens 40-yard line. And they might get that penalty right back.
They certainly are. I guess that's the one thing that happens when you throw the ball up deep. You have the opportunity for the big play. You have the opportunity for interference. This one's going to go against Jimmy Allen, who was all over Bull at the end of the play.
Pass interference on the defense. First down.
Bit of a bailout as well, as it'll give Western a first down on a 2nd and 20 situation. Falls has already attempted 10 passes, make it 11. Here comes the pressure. Thane Carter dumps it off, and there is a man in the general vicinity. But Thane Carter, from his middle linebacker spot, applied the pressure once again on Falls.
And the defense for the Queens Gaels is really stepping up the play. Not sure about the end of the play, tossing it away by Falls. That's really testing yourself when you're throwing the ball into the coverage of linemen and everyone else running in there after. But their production on offense has been not very good so far.
One of his last 8 is Mike Falls. 2 of 9, but this time Lucky has nowhere to go, as he is brought down very quickly by David Rooney.
The reason Falls is 2 of 9 is because none of his throws have been high percentage. And when you're going for the big one all the time, a lot of bad things can happen.
Seems to be a lot of rolls early on from this Western offense, and with this front 7 of Queens, there's just no time for Falls to even begin the roll.
Yeah, I'm guessing perhaps they're trying to roll away from the, oh Jesus,
Wheeler just gets that one away. The snap was there this time, but so is the pressure. Fumble, and Western has picked it up at the 35-yard line. They say he was down, and Queens will retain the football. Well, that was an interesting one. Still 9-0 Queens.
And when things are going good for you, things are going good for you. At the end of this play, Jimmy Therrien, this ball comes out before the knee touches the ground, right there. Should have been a fumble.
And Western did recover. No instant replay in the CIS, and Queens catches a big break. They have it 1st and 10 from their own 24. Brannigan, plenty of time. Great catch by Valberg, just to gain 4, as you see the ability of this young man.
We talked about Valberg off the top. Good idea here of why he's the leading pass receiver in the CIS. Doing a little under route across the field. They're setting up a rub for him. Nice one-handed catch. And then puts the ball away in his stomach. No one else is going to get to it.
472 yards, 5 touchdowns, leading the nation in receiving and touchdown receptions. Did it on 16, averaging a mere 29.5 yards per catch.
That is huge.
That one just 4, 2nd and 6. Another reception for Valberg. Breaks the tackle out to the 45-yard line. A gain of 18. As the Gaels move the chains.
Queens likes this matchup. Foster, or Valberg against Foster. Little catch, spin move, breaks the tackle. Gain of 15.
Corey McNair coming over to make the tackle. But not before Danny Brannigan moves this offense a little more. Standing in the pocket, waiting for his man to release. It was intended for Blaze Morrison. Great name for a receiver.
Not bad. Unfortunately, this one's coming back. It's going to be holding on Queens. No?
Unless they declined it.
Did I see something? Perhaps it was an errant flag. Anyways, it brings up 2nd and 10, and they've been moving the ball, Queens has, fairly rhythmical here.
Brannigan's had plenty of time in the pocket. As I say, it hit as he throws, delivers it deep though, just out of the hands of his intended receiver, Devin Shane.
And what a perfectly drawn up play at a perfect time. The Mustangs were a bit lucky here. They brought the full house on here, played cover 0 and behind, which means there is man-to-man and no help in the middle of the field. And really just a step too long. Or else that was going for 6.
Corey McNair in the grill of Brannigan as he released that football. Devin Shane, a big play receiver, just couldn't catch up to the ball. Village to Butler from his own 26. He will dance and be taken down at the 30-yard line. The Gaels lead in the last minute of play here in the first quarter by 9. From their rival in Kingston, RMC. I guess some kids jumped over the fence overnight and painted RMC on the turf. They spent about 2 hours trying to wipe it off, but I guess you can give a point to RMC for getting their initials on the turf here at Queens for homecoming on national TV. Faulds completes. Good for a gain of 4 on first down as they set up the screen to Dan Duff.
And this is the kind of play that really sets you up better for 2nd down. Now it opens up the playbook, allows you to go your short 6-7 yard game, intermediate game, and even deep if you want to. Leave yourself some options. So better choice on first down there for Western's offense.
Just curious, they've run the ball once. This is a team averaging over 200 yards a game on the ground. Lucky, maybe that's why. Nothing available. They've rushed twice for 4 yards. They say that ball's loose, and Queens will get it. The ball came loose, and this time they say it's a fumble. At the end of the first quarter, we will check on that when we return to Richardson Stadium. All the breaks going Queens way at homecoming as they lead by 9. Live, coast to coast on the Score television network.
Battle that Queens has won. It's also been a special team battle that Queens has won so far.
And as you look at the special teams errors from the Western Mustangs, it's basically what's handed Queens the 9-0 lead.
Yeah, that and some fumbles here. This is the latest one. They've only run twice. Leeper does a good job ripping the ball in Lecky's hands. And a scrum come up with the football.
So because of that fumble, Brannigan working from the Western 35. Again, time in the pocket. Stinson on the reception. He'll be dragged down by Adrian Kaiser. It's a gain of 11 and a first down.
When we talked to Coach Sheehan, he did a good job explaining to us that the receiving core they had has been a pleasant surprise for him. And what Brannigan's done is really spread the football around to a whole bunch of different receivers. And when you're spreading the ball around, it's tough for the defense to really key on any one guy.
Brannigan walks him up to the line of scrimmage once again. Giffen on the carry. Vaughn Martin able to wrap him up and drop him after a gain of 3.
Good patient game by the Queens offense. Put themselves in a 2nd and 8. Probably wanted to have a few more yards on first down, but certainly their offense is moving along and they're controlling the game. That's the opposite of what Western's doing on offense. They're not controlling the game. Queens is really playing their football game and making the Western defense adjust.
They've dictated the tempo here early. 2nd and long. Brannigan over the middle, looking end zone for Valberg, and he misses him. A flag on the turf back at the 25-yard line. This will bring begins to fall once again. It'll be holding against the Gaels, and it's in an interesting position for the Western Mustangs. The line of scrimmage is the 23-yard line within Dan Village's distance.
Well, you'd have to think that, and that's what Greg Marshall's doing, is actually pushing him back, taking him out of field goal range, down over, making them go.
Holding on the offense, repeat second down.
Making them go about 18 yards for the first down. And really the play they had set up that hit the post on that play was an under, a deeper over, and a post in behind. It was set up quite well for Queens and almost capitalized on it.
Call it 2nd and 18. Here comes pressure to set up the screen. And it is knocked down. John Surla sniffing it out for the Western Mustangs as the great sophomore backer had Mike Giffen in his sights and the football.
Good job by Surla here, reading the play from the get-go. He's got man-to-man on Giffen no matter where he goes, throws the arm in there, knocks the ball away. This is what happens a 2nd and long. You're going to go to one of two plays as usually called, and we talk about this every week. It's a screen or it's a draw, and got to expand the playbook on 2nd and long, although there's not a lot of places to go.
They'll still attempt the field goal from Village. Wet conditions. He'll attempt from 38. Low snap. Low line drive. The kick, and it is wide to the left. Butler out of his own end zone. Spins off a tackle and will be rewarded the 20-yard line. When we return to Richardson Stadium, it's the Gaels 9, the Mustangs nothing. Hand here for homecoming at Richardson Stadium in Kingston, Ontario. Live coast to coast on the Score television network. Tim McAuliffe alongside Mike Morialli, DJ Bennett on the sidelines as the youngsters are waiting for something to cheer for. Trombo's going to throw it. Looking down the sidelines. Bellamy was the intended receiver, but was nowhere close.
You're not going to fool the Queens defenders going deep, no matter who throws the football. That's all they've been doing all game long. Possibly the better thing to do is run the deep route, break it off, come on a comeback, throw the 15-yard route, let the defender run by you. But when you're throwing deep 90% of the time, you're not going to fool any DB.
Let me ask you a tough question. Is this almost an admission from Greg Marshall that they might not be able to run the ball against Queens?
It's either admission they not run the ball or they really think they can attack the Queens defenders.
Falls just dumps it off again. A 2-and-out from Western.
The most curious part is when we talked to Coach Marshall the other day, he talked about the room that the two corners were leaving for Queens. And talked about hitting them underneath, and we haven't seen too many underneath throws today. And very curious where this is heading. Coach Marshall's not a guy that's going to, just let this game get out of grasp. He's going to make changes, and I'm curious to see what he does next.
And he talks it over with Falls. Western's possessions have gone punt, a safety on an attempted punt, and here they come close to Wheeler. A fumble, a punt, a fumble, and another punt. Jimmy Allen looking for the corner. Gets a block as he steps out of bounds near midfield. As we look at the Pizza Pizza fan cam, brought to you by Pizza Pizza, the official pizza of the OUA, always hot and fresh. Pizza Pizza, Ontario's #1 pizza. Flag down on the play as we look at this homecoming crowd. And it'll go against both teams. And we might have a re-kick here.
Have to see how this plays out. Actually spotting the ball. It went against Queens, so it looks like first down Western. Offense come back. That's probably the first break they've had.
Unnecessary roughness on the defense. First down.
That is an extremely strange call.
Big play there. I didn't catch anything.
It certainly wasn't on the kicker. The flag was thrown along the line of scrimmage, which I don't know what exactly happened. I've never heard of a call along the line of scrimmage, unnecessary roughness.
Unless someone threw a punch.
Possibly. Then you'd be gone.
Exactly. Either way, Western catches a big break. 1st and 10 from their own 35. Lucky on the draw. And he will have 6, maybe 7 on 1st down. For more on the Queens defense, let's go down to DJ Bennett.
And we saw a run there for the first time in a while, and Queens really doesn't respect the run. They're dropping everyone. Occasionally they'll bring Thane Carter through the A and B gaps. Occasionally Chris Smith will come on the outside and give OC some help, but they're dropping everyone and daring Western to run at them. So let's see if Western can establish that run.
They got 7 on 1st down. And they'll run it once more. Lecky has the 1st down on a gain of 4, so 2 straight runs, and it's positive for Western after they catch the break on the punt.
Yeah, back-to-back runs, and they're moving the sticks for what just seemed like an eternity so far. But getting back to DJ's comments, when you have a defensive line of the caliber that the Queens Gaels have with Iquoma, McDonald, Sterling, and Puffer, you can afford to have your DBs drop off to protect the pass.
And that's Iquoma who they're working on, up to his feet quickly. But you're right, that front 4 allows them to do so many different things with their backers and in the secondary. Iquoma on a newly released top 10 prospects for the CFL as he's draft eligible. Came here as a true freshman. In fact, came here as a 17-year-old. So now just 20 in his 3rd year.
I'm talking to coach, very intelligent too. 90%er in high school, which
allowed him to get here at 17. Zach Bull makes the reception. Good for a gain of 11. So that's what we've been talking about. The underneath routes have been available if they just take them. 11 there, and then the run will help you establish that.
Exactly. You got all your receivers running what seems like a go route at the top of the route. Nice stick move, plant in the ground. Like I said, it's tough for a defender to stop, easier for a receiver. Now you've got the comeback route, so the hook's inside for 1st downs, and that's why you run deep to set it up. So possibly Coach Marshall sees something.
Here comes pressure. Falls is on the run again. Off his back foot, will just deliver it out of bounds. Vaughn Martin on the reception.
On the sidelines. Smart play by Foltz here, but really the pressure up the field by Sterling and company is huge, and really they're getting a lot of help by the linebackers, especially Chris Smith coming off the edge.
So it is 2nd and 10, and these 2 offenses who came in 1 and 3 in the nation have been held in check. Falls again, empty backfield. Looking to the right. Delivering the football to Bellamy, who makes the reception and will have the 1st down near the Queens 40-yard line. A gain of 11.
Well done. A great block by Ratty, number 53 on the offensive line for Western. Actually bought Falls enough time to drop back and find the open receiver for the 1st down.
It looked like Western wanted to get into a little bit of a hurry up. And we talked to Coach Marshall about the success they had with that from the start of the season. In fact, the scrimmage at Laval is where the hurry up was really established. Then they used it to score 22 points in the 4th quarter against Ottawa U in week number 1.
Yeah, it really allows for a good change of pace on the offense. And if you've got a little bit of run here, defense gets tired. Now you don't have time for the defensive calls to be sent in, and it really helps you keep the momentum of the drive moving.
And dictate that pace that's been all on the side of Queens as we slow it down with Kyle McDonald on the turf. We'll check on him on our return. McDonald hobbled off the field, has his bucket back on, so he appears to be okay, and so does the Western offense. They caught a break on a punt, gave him a 1st down, and after the 1st quarter saw all the breaks go the home squad's way. Western looking to make good on their opportunity. Falls again to the air. It is complete. Chris Smith tried to jump the route. And Scott Jans made the reception.
And Falls is getting a good opportunity to get a little more timing in his backfield. Offensive line is stepping up. Chris Smith wants to go for the pick. Anytime you miss it, though, the defender or the receiver just ends up right behind you, and possibly a big play. Jans makes a good catch along the sideline, keeps both feet in.
His first reception of the season. Here's Western a 2nd and 2, maybe 3 situation as the Biggins come in.
All the Biggins came in. You saw all the receivers basically run off the field. I don't know if any receivers are left.
Vaughn Martin, Christopher Greaves. Martin has gotten a carry. He's 1 for 1. A touchdown on his lone carry. Motion it up, and they'll run with Falls, who will have the first down near the 30-yard line. Late, the ball comes out before momentum was stopped.
Good job just plunging ahead by the quarterback. Anytime that one person touches a football.
That was a long 2, though.
It certainly was. There's a lot of faith in Falls because he's a very good athlete, and he can use his legs. And anytime you don't have to, shuttle guys in and out to take the short yardage plays, you're worried about him getting the extra hits. It's beneficial to an offense to keep it's seamless. You don't get it changing a new quarterback, taking a new snap, and so on and so forth. So good drive here going for the Western Mustangs.
1st and 10 from the 30. Falls play action again, looking for the end zone. And he will short arm a great coverage there. Downfield provided by Josh Sultana. So they went after the kid again, and this time he won that battle.
They've been going after Sultana quite a bit, and in his first year, you're going to attack a corner his first year. That's just what you do as an opposing offense. But he was been step for step all day, and they really haven't gotten lucky on him. A couple times they broke the routes off into the comeback routes, and I think that's probably the easier, safer throw because he's been running deep all day, covering the receivers, the Western Mustangs.
Replacing Jay Adewale, who had a hamstring injury, an OUA All-Star last year. Falls, pump and go. Looking down the seam for Trombley.
Yes,
Trombley! And he can't hang on to the ball. Separated by Alex DePrado.
And a huge hit by DePrado at the end of this play, but this was a perfectly set up play. Faked a screen pass in the backfield. The defender comes up, leaves it wide open down the seam, and the hit by DePrado nullifies what would have been a great gain for the Western Mustangs. Way to hit him when the contact and the feet touch the ground. Contact comes. Nice hit by DePrado, setting up the field goal instead of a short yardage play from the 2-yard line.
Wheeler attempting from 36 in the lane, 5 down as he is up and wide to the right, had the distance. As the return out of the backfield is not there. A big block for Jimmy Allen. But we will check on a flag. And could this be another first down for Western? Looks like it's going to go against the Mustangs. It is procedure.
Yeah, not it.
So it looks like they'll take the ball here when we get back. Picks up a single on the missed Dale Wheeler field goal. And Queens will scrimmage from their own 35-yard line. Brannigan will hand off. Giffen looking for the corner. But it is stretched out very well as Jonathan Hood pushes Giffen out. Near the 30-yard line, it'll be a loss of 5. A flag on the play.
Yeah, good job by Western defense making that play get stretched all the way to the sidelines. They'll decline this penalty. It's going against Queens and put them in a 2nd down situation, and I think it's going to be 2nd and 10.
Holding on the offense. It's declined. 2nd down.
So Jonathan Hood able to help stretch that play out. 4th round pick of the Edmonton Eskimos. Transfer from St. FX. Back after an ankle injury suffered in week number 2.
And actually great play declining because actually they're at 2nd and 13 now. puts the Queens offense in a tough position.
Brannigan looking to pass. He's looking to the short side of the field. Nothing was there, so he will dump it off. Can't get it into the hands of Stinson. That'll be 3rd and 13 now.
Looking to go after Valberg again on the sidelines. Problem is Valberg ran his route just a bit too quick, and Brannigan wasn't prepared to throw the football yet, had to pull it down. And the ebb and flow of the game is very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it started certainly really in Queens' favor, and now field position is going to change in Western's favor, and they're going to get the ball back for the first time in a near midfield or on their possibly a Queens side of the ball.
Village awaits the snap at his own 20. End over end kick. McNair trying to adjust at the 35. Guess the return is on to the right. Can't get there, so he will be dropped at the 38-yard line. So Greg Marshall and this offense, after throwing the ball a ton in the early going, will go back to work, and rain continues to fall here in Kingston.
One of Coach Marshall's greatest traits is the ability to adjust on the fly. It wasn't working off the top. I guess they stuck with it long enough to say, we'll give it a try. Now he's starting to hand the ball off, show some of the shorter routes. And the 40-yard field position is a nice place to start, regardless of what happens here in these downs.
Again, empty backfield. Bellamy on the reception. Gets a block. But can only make 2 yards as you see the closing speed of this Queens defense. Jimmy Allen up to make the tackle.
Closing speed is huge and great pressure up front. Guys like Leeper are getting into the backfield so quick that it's causing the defense, it's causing the offense fits trying to block him, and allows time for the defenders, his partners, to rally around and make the tackle for a gain of 2.
Sets up 2nd and 8. The wind beginning to pick up here as well. Western tries to defy the odds by continuing to throw the ball, and Chris Smith will pick up the sack at the 35-yard line, his first of the season, and almost stripped that football.
Yeah, there's a chance at the end of the play that Folds actually looked like he was going to underhand it again, and the great pressure up front has really allowed Chris Smith to come off the edge and disrupt what's going on in the Western backfield. Good takedown by Smith, getting his arms around Fald's arm, so there's nowhere for him to go.
Led the team in sacks in 06. But banged up last year. It's his first sack of this season. Wheeler in the punt once more. This time the snap is good. It'll hop up at the 45-yard line. Bobbled. But Queens will hang on, and the defense wins that field position battle as the Gaels get the ball at the 48 to start this drive.
Yeah, back to missed opportunities by the Western offense, and they're struggling a bit, finding gaining their identity, exactly what they want to do. But credit the Gaels defense, because they're coming up big up front. That front four provides so much pressure and allows the linebackers to kind of freestyle, get to the backfield.
So it's 1st and 10. Giffen is met at the line of scrimmage. Vaughn Martin.
And Vaughn Martin brings some serious size and strength to the defensive line of Western, and he's meeting major contact by 2 big men. But Martin wins that battle.
6'4", 294, playing the defensive end spot. This kid is an absolute beast who went to school, high school in the States, at Milford Academy in New York, was going to Michigan State. Things didn't really work out, so he returned home to London. Greg Marshall happy to have him. Brannigan forced to run with it, and again, this time it's Greaves and Martin in on the tackle, as 2 of the top 3 offenses in the country are being stymied right now by a pair of just as good defenses.
And we talked about it. Offensive lines are going to play key in this game, and right now both defensive lines are having their way with the O-lines of Western and Queens, and that's a big front four for Western as well. They bring some serious size and some serious effort. Reeves makes a good play following up on what Martin did on first down.
So Village will come in to punt. It's a good one. Butler back to his own 15. Another big collision. That'll take it out to the 20-yard line. As Butler loses the bucket, Dane Carter delivers the lick.
Carter is throwing his body around that football field on the missed field goal earlier on. We didn't catch it, but Carter laid out a Western defender right in his back, and a guy that was a lot bigger than him. He is certainly running with some serious attitude. Anytime you knock somebody's helmet off, that's a massive hit by Carter.
A collision between Thane Carter and Butler out of Nanaimo, BC, as Carter went to high school at St. Andrews College in Aurora. Same school as Michael Falls. Who gets under center. Falls will complete to the outside. Modest gain of 6 on the play. Zach Bull makes another reception.
Yeah,
by the way, DJ Bennett also went to St. Andrews College. I know I had to throw him into that mix.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Good positive gain on the sidelines, getting back to the underneath routes. Now you got second and short. Allows the offense to be a little more selective in what they want to do.
Although I will give DJ his props. He and Mike Falls won a Metro Bowl. As Falls has a man wide open down the seam. It's Bellamy cross midfield and into Queens territory at the 49-yard line. A gain of 28 on the play for Marshall's Mustangs.
One of the favorite calls by Greg Marshall sends 3 receivers straight up the seam. The job of the inside receivers to take the safety away, and leaves the halfback trying to choose between the corner and the seam right up by the slot back, and he chose wrong. Good throw by Falls as well to hit Bellamy.
Give Western a 1st and 10. As we near halftime. Falls to the right side. Reception is made by Travail. It's a gain of 12 and another Western 1st down.
Good job by Western, keeping the ball going, moving the football on some nice pinpoint passing. The short passing game really opens up the long one, and we're starting to see that happen now for Western, as we have a Queens player down on a knee. Travail's one of the receivers we talked about off the top, who really has been, quite a surprise. I think Coach Marshall and the coaching staff there expected to see this out of Travail at some point. But when a rookie can come in and instantly make an impact, that bodes well for the future.
So as we tend to player down on the field, let's have a look at next week here on the Score Television Network. We'll head to Ottawa, see if the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks can knock off an Ottawa U team that is poised to meet one of these two as we look at the playoffs, which will come in a couple weeks.
A lot of good matchups in the OUA as we keep moving forward, and you do have your top 2 teams playing here today, but there's that second group. They're going to make the huge playoff run down the stretch, and be very curious at this point where everyone's going to end up. It's too early to tell.
Western has moved the ball 52 yards in this drive. Before that, total offense of 84. Falls looking deep again for Travail. Some contact, and they will draw the flag. Travail had a step. I'll tell you what, if the ball's delivered, it's a touchdown. They do get the flag as it hung up a bit, and there was contact.
Definitely a flag. Right call here. Sultana doesn't even turn his head, and you're never going to get away with that one. And Travail is given some pressure to these corners now as they're starting to spread up the short passing routes and the long ones.
Pass interference against the defense. 1st down, Western.
So Western gets the football at the Queens 23, and Sultana goes to the bench. as we near the 3-minute warning. Falls to Travail again. He'll make one man miss at the 15-yard line. It'll be a gain of 8 as we have reached the 3-minute warning here at homecoming. Into the green zone. With the 2nd and 3. Falls on the sneak looking for the first down. And he will have it near the 10-yard line. So this drive now reaching 78 yards after producing just 84 before it.
And a good job by the Western offense, really working their way all the way down the field. Good ball control offense. Nothing flashy. Taking advantage of plays when they're there, and Falls has been on point so far.
The highest scoring offense in the nation, trying to get into the end zone. Play action. Falls, looking the end zone. It is picked off the goal line. Turning it up the other way with speed is Prado. He gets a block at the 40. Breaks the tackle inside Western territory. Still on his feet. Can he go 110? No. Tripped up just inside the 15-yard line. Alex Prado with a 96-yard return.
Just an amazing play by DePrado to jump this football. Kind of an errant throw by Falls out to the flats. Really, really not a greatly placed football. And after this, DePrado just used his legs and gets some great effort upfield by his receivers and the rest of the defense chasing after him. Just a saving tackle at the end by Haggerty stops the touchdown.
And we'll see how much that saved the Western Mustangs as we near the end of the first half. But a big swing of momentum as Western looked like they were going to stick it in the Gaels' end zone. DePrado exhausted as the offense goes to work. Brannigan to throw. Completes in the flats. McNair on the tackle quickly near the 5-yard line. Devin Sheehan, excuse me. That's Blaze Morrison on the reception.
And getting back to the Falls pass, I'm not too sure where he was throwing the football, but DePrado did a good job following and flowing with the quarterback as he rolled to his right. Now it sets Queens up in just a great field position to put some points on the board and really separate themselves from Western going into the half.
You can see the alumni gathering around the track for their march. Giffen didn't get in, but he'll be close to the first down as we're under 2 minutes left. It's a first down. It'll be goal to go from the 2-yard line.
Good job by the Queens offense up front, getting the first down. Because of the run under 3 minutes, it allows the clock to run. The more time they take off the clock right now really leaves less for Western on the flip side when they get the ball back. So good ball control offense by Queens.
Full house backfield. Giffen, his second touchdown of the game. And Queens adds to its lead.
And you see the bench congratulating DePrado because he really set this up. And this is twice now that Giffen's gone into the end zone, basically untouched till he crossed the line. A credit to that offensive line that's really moving people around on the Western front four.
His 10th touchdown in 5 games this year as Alex DePrado provides what is basically a 14-point swing for the Gaels. The extra point from Village. And we have a 16-1 Queens lead as they sing the Oil 5. Something you never want to see as a visitor here in Kingston.
Well, certainly you don't, and that means there's been points put up on the board, and that's something you don't want to see. It's going to be interesting now to what Greg Marshall does on the flip side. They really need some positive yards here. They need to put some points on to gain some confidence going into halftime for them. And then I have a feeling he's going to read the riot act to his team when they go into half.
Well, the only thing that Queens could talk about was last year's loss to this Western squad.
The focus for Queens hasn't failed since last year. a tough loss for them to see Western go on, and they've been working hard all off season and all season long for this matchup today, and they are certainly pulling on all the stops as they lead 16-1.
The way it's gone for the Western Mustangs. The knee goes down from Nathan Riva, and Western will have to start from their own 4-yard line. And Michael Falls will begin deep in his own zone. We talked about Mike Giffen looking for that vengeance from last year's loss.
We were just outplayed. Like, you could just tell by watching the film the day after the game, and we just didn't play well. The quarterback wasn't on, running game was off, defense couldn't really stop the run, so we didn't do much well at all.
So Giffen was held under 100 yards in that game. The only time he's been held under 115 in the last 14 games. And he's been held in check, but the 2 touchdowns are what counts, along with a 16-1 score. So Western now is looking to get a first down here to avoid it getting worse. Lecky, the ball carrier, TJ Leeper, wraps him up and tosses him down after a gain of 2.
So taking valuable time off Western's clock. They just called a timeout right now to stop the clock. Queens called the timeout. Smart play by them. Looks like they're going to have a lot of time left.
Timeout. Defense.
Yep, smart call by Coach Sheehan. Call the timeout, get the ball back with probably over a minute if they can stop Western on second down.
1:34 left on the clock. Coach Marshall needs a first down. Otherwise, you're conceding 2 or giving field position.
Either way, it's not a good position to be in if you're the Western Mustangs. And
especially when you were just about to put some points on the board. You finally got a drive put together on offense. And Alex DePrato just seized momentum away.
He certainly did. Folds, if he could have that throw back, he'd take it, certainly, as he comes back in the football game on second down, and a very important play here to get a first down and get the clock going and not give up possession.
So second down and 8. Falls from his own end zone. Lost the football. And another big turnover as Queens recovers inside the 5.
Pressure is everything in the game of football. And the defensive line, and here it's Diploma, knocks the ball into Falls' hands. Leeper recovers it. And now what a swing for the Queens Gaels as they're lining up inside the 10-yard line to really put this game out of reach in the first half.
Leading 16-1. First down, goal to go. 2 tight end set. Could Giffen get 3? They will throw. Brannigan. Valder. Just missed him.
Brannigan, if he would have maybe taken another drop step, might have had a little more time to, not have to throw over guys that are 6 foot something, 300 pounds in front of him. But nonetheless, they're still in a great position here on second down. He really doesn't get a deep drop. Jonathan Hood's right in his face. Good pressure by Surla and Greaves up front. So he's got to throw the ball over top. Doesn't allow him to come through on his arm, and the ball sails away.
They go full house on second down. Play action, Brannigan on the roll. Got a man wide open. Touchdown, Queens. Chris Ioannidis with his 3rd touchdown of the season. And Queens makes good on the Western turnover.
Very smart play. Another touchdown that's set up by the defense. But smart play when you have Giffen in the backfield. Run play action. Use your feet, Brannigan does. Gets to the outside. Ioannidis right there for the easy touchdown.
Ioannidis had a big game on the score when Sixero and Chapdelaine covered it. 7 balls for 126 and 2 touchdowns. Guess he likes the bright lights. His 3rd touchdown of the year and his 3rd on the score, as Queens has grabbed a 23-1 lead. And this is going to be tough for Western to come back from, considering they were about to put points up on the board at 9-1.
It's amazing what can happen in probably less than a 2-minute swing. You've gone from the opportunity to go 9-8, and now you're down 23-1 in a matter of 2 minutes. And both times it was set up by the play of the Queens defense, which really has done a great job dictating the Western offense for the bulk of this first half. There's been flashes of brilliance by Western here and there, but boy, what a turn of events in a 2-minute swing from a possible 1-point deficit to a 22-point deficit.
How about 14 points in 14 seconds?
I knew it was under 2 minutes. I didn't think it was 14 seconds.
Tremblay from his own end zone. And Western gets some sort of momentum. No, they cannot. Tim Poffley down to send Tremblay and reverse.
Yeah, a lot of people around town have been asking my thoughts on the football game today, and of course I thought it was going to be a very even. It is 2 evenly matched teams, but Queens is certainly outplaying them in all aspects of the game. It started with special teams. Their offense got going early, and the defense hasn't stopped for the 2 quarters that they've played in. And Western has just looked sloppy, and they really haven't made anything out of their opportunities that they created.
Quick starters are these Gaels. They're outscoring opponents 88-15 in the first half. On the season as Lecky is wrapped up. And again, Queens will take a timeout.
Wow, this Western has to be very careful that Queens doesn't get this football back and put more points on the board, because that's exactly what's going to happen if they don't convert in the second down. Just met in the backfield by Beeper, who's having a great game, just recovered the fumble earlier on.
The only solace for the Western Mustangs is the fact that they've outscored their opponents in the second half 92-25, including 22 fourth-quarter points versus Ottawa U in week number 1 to steal a win from the GGs. But I'm not sure Greg Marshall likes to employ that tactic.
No, you never want to play catch-up in the game of football. You always want to be out in front and controlling the game. And the Queens Gaels have certainly done that so far, to the detriment of that Western sideline, who right now feel a bit shell-shocked.
They're going to need a first down here to avoid giving the ball right on back. Doesn't matter how you feel, the Cows have to be known. We'll get to the 25-yard line. It's a gain of 9, but on 2nd and long, it's still short of a first down.
Yeah, you know, now they're far enough that they can't give up the safety. They have to punt. They need a good punt here by Wheeler. And no matter how you slice it, Queens just catches the ball, puts a knee down on special teams. They're still in really good field position, probably in and around their 45-yard line. And that doesn't take into account a possible big return that'll set up even more points.
I'll tell you what, the best returner in the nation is Jimmy Allen of the Queens Golden Gaels, averaging 18.1 yards per return, leads the nation by almost 8 yards. But John Surlott down there on special teams makes a great open field tackle to limit the gain from Allen.
What more can you expect out of your middle linebacker? He's got to be all over the field, and you know what? He's sucking wind playing defense here for what seems like an eternity, and he runs down on special teams and a sure tackle on an excellent return man. Actually knocked him back inside the 45-yard line, which is still good field position, but allows Western a bit of breathing room here.
A tiny bit. Down 23-1. A little over a minute ago, it was 9. Brannigan over the middle. He will complete at the 45-yard line. Shane, son of the coach, on the reception. And Queens will take their final timeout of the first half.
Smart call on the timeout. You might as well use it. You've got the football. You're in a great position to score again.
Timeout. Defense.
The defense used that.
Really? I thought they pointed to Queens bench. If this was used by Western, I don't quite understand it, because the ball was thrown, which means the play clock will still run because the ball was Sheehan was tackled inbounds.
Well, that's a curious call. Shane will take it, and he'll also take a trip to the Desjardins Vanier Cup. Long way to go, but that's what they're playing for, and home field advantage would definitely help. Ontario will host the Atlantic Conference in the national semifinal. All to get there. The Desjardins Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 22nd at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, and tickets have just gone on sale. Head to the web to find out how and when and where. Right now, it's Queens. 23-1 as they complete in front of Josh Foster. Wahlberg on the reception.
Wahlberg's got to know a little better here and get out of bounds and serve the clock. He's going to call, the referee's going to call this being tackled in bounds. He was close enough to the sideline. Well-designed play to go to the sideline, but after you catch this, run out of bounds. The yards don't mean as much right now, but getting out of bounds and stopping the clock does.
They realized they're a split second too late. 1st and 10, near midfield. Brannigan looking for the wheel route. Wasn't there. Shane, the intended receiver, McNair with the coverage. This is a pair of 8s matchup.
Good choice throwing the ball to the sidelines. Like I said, being able to stop the clock. If you make the reception, they tried to attempt to go to the wheel route. Didn't really fool McNair whatsoever. It was good coverage by the Western defense. And now it sets up a 2nd and 10 here, where a first down will put them in really, really long field goal range, but certainly will extend the drive and give them an opportunity to score some more points.
What a swing in momentum here to end the first half. High snap, flag down. Brannigan will just take off, take a bit of a pop near the 51 of the Mustangs. Smart play by the quarterback there, as it seemed like that play was out of whack from the start. Just take it and go.
Yeah, good job just getting his hand up to corral the snap. And we got 2 penalties against the Gaels.
And a Mustang on the field.
Reeves is down and got a big chunk of grass in his helmet.
John Madden moment right here.
I feel like I should be saying something, but there's only one John Madden. What you see here is
that grasshopper. We'll leave it to Frank Caliendo.
Offside.
The last thing they
on
need.
The offense is declined. Holding on the offense is declined. 3rd down.
As I see Greaves on the ground, he'll rise to his feet, and it looks like Queens will punt as they try and please this homecoming crowd that they've been waiting for here at Queens.
Time where, you know, it's you bring back all your family, pretty much. You know, it's like a big family reunion. You've got all the players of the past, all the alumni of the past who are coming back to really see what their legacy has turned out to be. So, you know, it's very important that we come out and have a great showing.
Well, Thane, you are thus far, especially the defense.
A great effort by the defense, playing a great 2 quarters of football, and the offense has certainly welcomed the ball in great field position to make some points. And the special teams.
Almost had one block, but a big kick by Village. And that will do it for the first half of play as the engineering students here at Queens rush the field in a tradition. But right now, you can't take the focus off this Gaels team that has seized the momentum here, leading 23-1 as we go to DJ Bennett. DJ.
Coach, tough start. Turnovers and penalties, unfortunately, have been the difference.
Yeah, we've made a lot of turnovers, and they've capitalized on them, and I give them credit. They seem to be a little bit better prepared right now.
Offensively, some struggles as well.
You're right. We have struggled the ball, but mostly protection. And give credit to Queens' defensive line, because right now they're better than our offensive line, and we're going to have to find a way to give Mike time to throw the ball.
You've been a second half team, and the hurry up has worked for you in the past. Will we see it in the second half?
Possibly. Yeah, we'll have to. We got to do something to change things up. So there's a good chance that we're going to try to see if we can run a hurry up. It's pretty noisy here, and it's difficult to communicate.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck in the second half. Tim, you heard it here first. The crowd is getting involved, and it's tough for the Mustangs.
Yeah, I'd say so, DJ, as the engineers smack the coats here at homecoming at Queens. Reason to celebrate through 2 quarters at least. When it looked like the Western Mustangs were going to crawl back into this game, Alex DePrato with the pick and the 6. Gaels by 22 at half.
Queens fans soaking it up here on a wet day in Kingston. The Gaels up 22 during the Rumble at Richardson Stadium. We'll be back with more. And now it's time for your Cross Canada scoreboard. In the Battle of Waterloo, Laurier up 10, Guelph up 13 on U of T, and a big one, a shocker, which has some complications for the loser of this game, 37-16 Windsor over Ottawa. And around the league, Montreal, the Battle of Montreal, is up 10 against McGill. Up to the booth for more on what's been a crazy day, not just in Kingston, but around the OUA, Mike Morelli and Tim McAuliffe.
Thank you, DJ Bennett. And, well, that's a shocker, I'll tell you that much. The Ottawa losing to Windsor with plenty of time left in that football game.
Yeah, it certainly is. Ottawa's a really good football team. They've played well all year. And the implications, like we talked about earlier, you don't know what's going to happen until the games are played and down to the playoff run. So that'll change a lot of things.
Coming into this year, Ottawa U were among the favorites, along with Western, maybe even Queens. I don't know if they were necessarily put into the group of the upper echelon here in the OUA at least. But they've played like that thus far in the first half. No different here at homecoming. A sold-out crowd on hand to see the Gaels do exactly what they did in that first half. As we look at the highlights, Mike, it all started with a gift from Western, a botched snap that resulted in a safety, and then the wheels fell off, starting with Alex DePrato.
Huge play by DePrato there, gets the ball back to Giffen on the 2-yard line, and on the ensuing kickoff,
Nathan Riva loses his footing, gives Western a tough situation made tougher by the false fumble.
Forma comes up with a big strip of the football. Leaper gets his hands on it, and then the good running of Giffen sets up his play action. The Ioannidis, who comes up big within 14 seconds, they put 14 points on the board.
And because of it, lead 23-1 at halftime. And these are 2 of the top 3 offenses in the league. And you look at the first half stats, and Western through the air with 133, but the big statistic is right here.
Certainly is. Anytime you give up 4 turnovers, that is a huge smack in the backside to your offense, your defense, and your special teams, because you're digging yourself out of a hole every single time.
So what does Greg Marshall have to do to claw back into this football game?
Well, I talked about earlier when I talked about my keys. The offensive line for Western has to be key to the production of the Western offense. And there was one drive where they played real well, gave Fultz some time, albeit the interception late, but they need to play some good football. And I'm sure that Coach Marshall went after them because he's very keen and very understanding of the offensive line game. And it'll be interesting to see if they respond in the second half.
The defense has been there for the Western Mustangs. He's held Pat Shan's #1 ranked offense in the nation in check, including the nation's leading rusher, Mike Giffen. 10 rushes, 12 yards.
Yeah, both defenses have played exceptionally well. It's the turnover battle that we talked about. The big key, giving up 4 turnovers is never good. And what Queens did with those turnovers, they responded with points. And anytime the points off turnover battle, they won that as well, and they won that in a big way.
Do you change your game plan if you're Coach Shane with a 23-1 halftime lead?
No, I think the defense continue to do what they're doing because they're playing some great football. Their special teams is playing real well. Their offense, they were very consistent moving the ball around early. They got to get back to their kind of play selection they did early, spreading the ball to different receivers, handing off to Giffen every so often, almost using him a bit as a dummy, as someone to take pressure away and, throw it away. A decoy is a better word than dummy, that's for sure.
The second half underway as the fourth-ranked team in the nation, the Queens Gaels, with Jimmy Terrian across the 35-yard line, lead the number 2-ranked Western Mustangs 23-1 as we go down to DJ Bennett with more bad news.
Yeah,
Mustangs.
It just gets worse down here, Tim. Chris Greaves sprained SC joint. A football injury normally is AC, but the SC joint, so that's going to put him on the shelf for some time. So what happens now is Von Martin moves inside, and Gresham, the youngster, is playing end.
And Gresham Bailey will wear number 13 for the Western Mustangs. 1.5 sacks, a second-year kid pressed into duty for one of the best in the OUA in Greaves. They dump it away to Stinson. And Stinson with a 15-yard gain on first down for the Gaels as they begin well here in the second half.
Very smart play by Queens off the top, and Stinson's a big man at 6'6", 250 in his 5th year, 206 yards already receiving and 2 touchdowns, and that's the good play selection coming right out of the break that they need to keep the ball moving.
Stinson, a two-sport athlete, played college basketball before coming to Queens to play football. Brannigan pitches through but completes. Good for a 7-yard gain to Devin Sheehan. And it doesn't matter where Martin's playing, he'll still come with the heat.
Yes, sir. He's bringing heat all over the field. And Sheehan does a little wheel route that he sits down at the top of his route. Probably sits it down a yard or two too early. Doesn't matter. It's still first down. Gain of close to 8 yards on the play. They're really having their way, the Queens offense, with some of the DBs here for Western. That intermediate pass game is looking real strong.
Brannigan on second and short, Giffen. He will make his way to the 45-yard line, a gain of 5 and a Queens first down. This is an offense, Mike Moriali, that averages 597 yards per game heading into this one.
Those are huge numbers for any offense. And if you're a defensive coordinator and you're looking at how do I control, a 600-yard offense and manage them down to, 400 yards, that's still a massive number. So the Western defense knows they have their hands full, and the Queens offense is really kind of dictating the tempo. So
Giffen with his 30th touchdown, tying a record set by Paul Purrialli. Brannigan's pass on 1st and 10, incomplete.
Big zone drops here by the linebackers. The Sterling company drop off and take away those underneath routes. Almost sits right in behind on the deep in route. Ball just got away a bit on Brannigan.
And thus 2nd and 10. The alumni parade wrapped up at halftime. Folks getting back into their seats. Sold out here at Richardson Stadium. Close to 11,000 on hand as Brannigan looks deep down the sidelines on Foster. Some jostling between Valberg and Foster. No flag comes out.
And Western brought the house again, put their defensive backs into cover 0. And Brannigan tried to go to the sidelines to Valberg, but really the big key was right up the center. In this throwing lane here, he had an opportunity to go after Shane, as you see him at the end of the play against McNair.
Instead, Village will punt, standing at his own 51-yard line. Western just seems like they need a big play to get back into this game because the defense has been doing a good job against the nation's top-ranked offense. Butler from his own 2-yard line. Craig Butler out to the 15 before being dropped in this Western offense. We'll look for some sort of momentum when we return to Kingston. The rain falling here in Kingston as the Queens Gaels hope their homecoming parade avoids the rain of the Western Mustangs. Faulds keeps the ball on what looked like a quarterback draw.
Yeah, that's a design play. They emptied the backfield. Must have saw something, a little gap they could penetrate on the defensive line here. Spread everyone out. No one in the backfield. Jaradat running up front. He's reading the block with Jaradat. Gain of 7 on the play.
It'll set up a 2nd and short for Faulds. They'll run it forward with the quarterback. Marshall loving that quarterback sneak on 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3.
When you have somebody of Faulds' athletic ability, it allows you to do that, which is nice because you can set something up later. You want to keep the ball in the playmaker's hands and his quarterback's hands and Travail's hands. They haven't established to this point a running back that is their go-to guy, so I think they're a bit leery of what exactly they're doing, relying on that running game.
Faulds to throw again. Makes the reception, takes a hit from Smith, but he will move the sticks once more. Gain of 10 on the play. Is it tougher as a receiver when the rain starts falling to catch the football?
I think you got to use your body a little bit more than your hands in case it slips. Good pressure up front by the Queens D-line. Bellamy does a good job wrapping away, and Smith comes over and lays a lick on him. Smith's been all over the field today for that defense.
Falls to throw again. Into the flats and almost intercepted. Smith having himself a game as he has moved into more of a DB spot than his normal outside linebacker position.
Yeah, we're talking about DBs. We talked about jumping routes. And Smith here does an amazing job jumping the route. He did it earlier and got beat in the first quarter on a long ball. Oh, the arm gets hit by Faulds. That disrupts the throw a bit.
We'll throw again. Incomplete, but only good for 2 yards on 2nd and 10, so Western will have to punt. Tremblay on the reception. What I mean by catching the football in the rain is there's still routes available in the rain. It doesn't stop you from executing a passing game.
Without a doubt, when you're a receiver, I mentioned a few times already, when you're a receiver, you know where you're going to end up. You're running against a DB who has no idea. So your footing allows you, the better footing you have allows you to break out of routes before they can gather their feet and take off. So really it's an advantage in these situations.
Wheeler just gets this one away, and it's a good kick. Jason Terrian back to his 15-yard line, makes one miss and takes it out to the 26-yard line, a return of 11 yards. Western has won 11 straight against OU8 competition, outscoring their last 2 opponents by a combined 120 to 3. But right now they trail the Queens Gaels 23 to 1. Brannigan standing tall in the pocket, looking down the seam, just missing Wahlberg. Brannigan looked first to his left, then to his right, and it almost seemed like Wahlberg stopped running.
Yeah, you got to keep moving if you're the receiver. On any given play, you're going to get that ball. You don't know what's happening behind you. If the pocket collapses, if suddenly the backside becomes the front side of the route. But they seem to be attacking Foster quite a bit with Wahlberg, and I think they feel it's a matchup that they can win. And there's been a few times today the ball has been maybe a yard and a half ahead, or else there's been going to be some massive gains.
2nd and 10 now. Brannigan again with time. Wahlberg, the reception at the 35, which is close to a first down. It'll be just shy depending on the spot of the football. And an interesting decision for Coach Sheehan.
Yeah, I think this is going to end up being less than half a yard, which more often than not, you take advantage of the yard that defensive line gives you, but a good passing play by the Gaels, who really don't seem to have changed their offense whatsoever. They really are playing their game, and anytime you can play your game and make the defense adjust to you, then you really got control. And so far today, they've done a good job controlling the football game on the offensive side of the ball and defense and special teams. All three, they've done a really good job doing that.
And that's why they have a 23-1 lead.
You know, generally 2 out of 3 will win you a football game. Defense, special teams, combination of offense, defense, what have you. That's a first down, and this really sets up nicely to continue the drive here for Queens. But 2 out of 3 wins usually propels you to victory. But with you running all 3, then you're in some serious good position.
Coach Shane's boys right now in good position. Leading receiver in the nation, 5 catches, 52 yards. As Brannigan has 4 receivers at his disposal. Ballberg 6 catches. And add 15 more to the total.
This is just a 3-step timing route. Quick post, the outside, it's all timing. Play was set up by a great throw by Brannigan right down this seam. Boom. Good job by Valberg splitting the defenders, catching the ball and hitting upfield for the first down.
Looks like they're dinking and dunking here to start the second half. They hand it off to Giffen. And boy, Vaughn Martin and Mike Giffen have had some collisions. Martin brings them down there, but I think Giffen won that tilt.
Yeah, they're button heads for sure, and away from the play, Valberg's cutting his DB, Foster, and he's saying, listen, if I'm not catching the ball, I'm still making plays. And that shows you he's in this football game. And the rest of the Queens Gaels are doing the same thing. But a great collision, boom. The forward momentum of Giffen knocks Vaughn over this time. Vaughn won the last battle. We're 1-1. We'll see how it continues for the rest of the game.
2nd and 9. 5 receivers. Play action. Easy throws is Brannigan. And boy, Adrian Kaiser delivered a pop as Western brought it.
Good pressure by Kaiser, and the Western front disrupted the timing of that play. Although there's pretty good coverage in the backfield. Carapella was on Sheehan.
So Queens will punt as I step all over you.
And here we go again. Battle of field position.
A little high. Village is able to handle it. End over end towards the middle of the field. Butler on the run to the 34-yard line. So Western will attempt to grab some sort of momentum when we get back. The Western Mustangs have scored at least 31 points in each of their 4 wins this season, coming off 71 last week versus York. Today, just 1 as they trail the number 4 ranked Queens Golden Gaels 23-1, trying to force it to Bellamy is Falls. Double coverage there. Chris Smith getting help from Ben Dandria.
Yeah, not a great selection on throwing the ball down there. Travail was down below, running a little comeback route to the outside. Probably a safer throw. Even if he was covered, he can toss over the head, throwing it double coverage. They're taking their chances now. I think they're getting a little frustrated with the way their offense has been moving, and they're taking chances that could result in trouble.
Falls will have to run. Cuts it inside to the 45 and will have a first down. This one, it looked like nothing was available. Nice little cut back lane from the quarterback. He'll move the sticks himself.
Good
job. They start this hurry-up offense.
Definitely. They're going to get to the ball and run the hurry-up. Good job up front by the O-line. He picks aside, heads up field, and basically outruns the defensive line of the Gaels. And he's probably the leading rusher right now for the Western squad.
33 yards. To Lucky's 21. Had a man open over the middle. That was Zach Bolt, who was on a linebacker. And Faulds just got the happy feet back there.
Yeah, Faulds is good. He was going to go deep first. He actually checked down to the smaller throw. He's getting a lot of pressure on his backside, that's for sure. Neil Puffer in there to disrupt the ball.
Force a second attempt. Here comes pressure again. This one is intercepted. Michael Botting with his first pick of the season. And right now, it's all Queens.
You know, really set up by poor decision making here. The ball's been forced every play. Throwing a wide field hook. That's a 50-yard throw to gain 12 or 15. And you know what? Any defender who's got a bit of speed is going to jump in front of that one. They haven't been in sync all day on offense, the Western Mustangs, and it's showing, and it's hurting them.
Run ball with Giffen, and eventually they will wear down this Western defensive line. But right now, the Mustangs playing very well on the defensive side. And go back to the interception by Botting. And Faulds' success in this Western offense has always been predicated by his ability to take care of the football. Through 4 games this year, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They are 4-0. He throws 2 picks in this game without a touchdown pass. And right now it looks like loss number 1. And go back to last year, scout the numbers as well. Brannigan, plenty of time. They picked up the blitz. Brannigan just couldn't find Wahlberg, who had beaten his man clean.
And Western's defense right now is bringing the heat. They have to. They got to force something. They got to force Queen's hand. Zero coverage again. Middle of the field's wide open. That's where Brannigan goes to Wahlberg, and just outthrown again. It's been a yard or two has separated this game from being 23-1 to being 44-1.
And Western's still in the game because of it. Village to punt. To Butler. From his own 10. It's a block for the corner. It's some good downfield coverage by Neil Puffer, and the rest of the Gaels special teams limits the gain to 11. Well, a flag on the turf. Queens will take this exchange every time. Block in the back from Western, and the Mustangs start from their own 7-yard line. It just seems like Queens has grabbed momentum, and Duncan McCall there in the middle of your screen committing the sin.
Yeah, now you're backed up on your 7-yard line. You're already forced to go downfield all the time. This is a tough position to be in for an offense.
Play action. He just has to dump it away. As the pressure came once again, Leaper in the backfield, Kukwoma in the backfield.
Hate to sound like a broken record, but you're doing the play fake here, but you haven't established the run yet. Now you're trying to go over top and run a comeback route, and to make it even worse, you got pressure. You got about 3 Queens defenders right in your face. That's a tough position for Faulds to be in.
The only thing they haven't done to Michael Faulds today is kick his dog. Second half, just 2 of 7, 12 yards, going to pick off. Going to keep trying, and Bull battles back to the ball. That breaks 2 tackles. Zach Bull across midfield, chased down from behind by DePrado. But there's the big gain they were looking for, as Faulds took another pop as well.
Faulds takes a huge hit at the end of this play. It actually helps him because the ball's underthrown, and as a receiver, you're looking back to the football. It allows Zach to come back to the football, break up field, get a lot of positive yards. Zach Bull does a great job getting that field, but what a hit Faulds takes at the end of the play.
You see that helmet right in his face. He gets up, adjusts the grill, and goes to the sidelines to try and come up with a play to get on the board here.
It's a big break for Western. Like I said, if you're the receiver running down the sideline, you're looking back at the ball all the time. The defender's watching your eyes. If you can play off the fact the ball's in the air and break back on it, it allows you to get separation from the defender. It's exactly what happened. It wasn't a planned throw behind, but it certainly worked that way.
So they tend to Dandria on the field. That means Sultana comes back into the game. The freshman at the corner, they had shuffled things, moving Jimmy Allen to the corner, but Sultana, because of the injury, goes back to that corner. See if Western tries to pick on the freshman. They do throw right at him with Bull, and they will be close to a first down.
Any good offense is going to see the change come in. You go back to the rookie corner. They try to do it all game long, and you're going to attack him. Zach Bowles had a good matchup on the outside. Got a first down on that play. Little hitch route converted to a first down. Talked about throwing in front of the defenders to set up in behind, and that's what they did there.
Bowles 6 catches now, 122 yards. End zone, looking for Bellamy, and it is knocked away. David Rooney has really excelled in that halfback spot. Another play by number 10.
Great job by Rooney downfield. They try and take the shot again. Not a bad decision to go deep here. He got the opportunity to go over top. Rooney at the last second turns his body, tips it away, and pretty much every defensive back for the Gaels today has had an opportunity to knock the ball away, and he's continuing the trend.
Tell you what, Faulds is going to need the ice pack after this game. Again to throw on 2nd and 10. Another hook route caught by Haggerty. He uses his body beautifully to shield the defender and pick up the first down. And an all-star defender in Jimmy Allen.
Yeah, Jimmy Allen had really good position on the ball, but Haggerty does a good job using his big body. Gets the hands open. At the end of this play, we're going to see Faulds on his back again and get a huge hit. How many times is he going to get up and keep throwing that football?
Lecky on the carry. As Western gets into the green zone. First down, he'll pick up 8. And this is the Western offense we expected to see. And it all started with basically a jump ball to Zach Bull, but it doesn't matter how you get the confidence, so long as you get it.
Nice play there, a little change of pace. Quick hitter right up the gut to Lecky, and injured Gael right now taking a knee.
I think that was a smart play by Thane Carter to slow down this offense. And a veteran play. Took a knee in the middle of the field as Western attempted to run the hurry up.
Turned up being a timeout by Queens, but probably could have got away with taking a knee. And
did they take the timeout?
Yeah, timeout was taken. So, but there was an opportunity there. I saw the knee go down. I thought perfect opportunity to go down and stop the clock.
We'll take this timeout to tell you about the OUA Athletes of the Week, brought to you by Pioneer Petroleums. Earn bonus bucks at Pioneer Petroleums to spend on fuel, snacks, and more. Ryan Phantom, for his performance last week on The Score, takes the male athlete of the week. Well, Laurier lacrosse player Heather McCarty of Whitby, Ontario, scored 9 goals in leading the Golden Hawks to a 3-0 weekend, defeating Guelph, Western, and McMaster. Right now, Michael Faulds is not going to be up for any Athlete of the Week honors, but he just needs some scores right now.
Yeah, he's being a warrior, standing back. You're taking the hits he's taking. He's going to need ice for his back and his shoulder because he's thrown deep about 15 times a day as well.
On 2nd and short, they go with him again. Just to give him a little more work. Yeah, he'll be close to the first down.
Watch your foot 44 when you get up. I'm right next to you.
He's working hard today, definitely. You know, there was a couple errant plays he wish he had back, but the effort's definitely been there from Faulds. He's certainly got a lot of pressure on him up front from the defensive line of the Gaels, and some of their DBs have been making some great plays as well.
That's his 6th rush of the game. He's thrown the ball 37 times, and we have 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. A link short, and it'll be 3rd down.
They don't have the established tailback like we talked about, so really a lot falls on Mike Faulds' shoulders, and he's done a good job taking it and nudging forward for 1 or 2 yards on these little sneaks, and he has to do it today again. A little shorter time this time. It should be an easy plunge.
3rd down and inches inside the Gaels 10. Faulds will have the first down inside the 5-yard line. Looking a little tired, though.
He's got to be. That's a nice drive, though, by the Mustangs, and they've taken it almost the length of the field to get into the position where they are now on the 5-yard line, facing a first down.
You good?
First down and goal to go as Western looks for their first touchdown of the game. Remember, this is a top scoring offense in the nation.
Yeah, they haven't shown it today. There's been times of, I'm not going to call it brilliance, but they moved the football.
Lecky on the carry. They will scrum him down to near the 2-yard line.
And I'd hate to say it already, but this might be 3 down football already for the Western Mustangs, down 22. And if they don't go for, if they don't make it here on second down, might as well try on third and then get your defense to hopefully stop the Queens offense if nothing happens here on second down.
Here we are, gentlemen.
Second down, goal to go from the 2. Falls, the pitch, Lecky cuts it back, spins into the end zone, touchdown Western. The Mustangs go 10 plays, 103 yards for the score.
Just a great job of ball control offense by the Mustangs. Pitch in the backfield here to Lecky, who gets pressure upfield. Nice cut back inside, rumbles into the end zone. But they had that ball back on their 2-yard line after a penalty on a punt that backed them up, and they took it 103 yards. Oh, actually, it was on their 7-yard line. My math was a bit off. Needless to say, over a 100-yard drive is a big one.
It's just what the doctor ordered. Go for 2 here. Tipped and incomplete. But the Western Mustangs find some sort of momentum as they get their first score of the game. It's 23-7 in Kingston. It takes till late in the 3rd quarter for the Western Mustangs to put up a major. They go 10 plays, 103 yards, capped by a Lecky 2-yard touchdown run, and it's a 23-7 ball game here at homecoming at Queens. The kickoff taken by Jimmy Allen in his own 10. Waits for his blockers. Nothing doing as he takes it out to the 25-yard line. A return of 15 yards.
And win or lose, no matter how you slice it, Mike Faulds is going to have a long, painful bus ride home, as at the last play, Chris Smith comes in at the end of the play and puts him on his back again. He certainly has been sitting in that pocket and taking the hits, and hopefully the teammates recognize that and rally behind him. And we talked about him off the top and how he's got to be that leader, emotional leader. He's being the physical leader right now as well.
So Queens looking to maintain, have Giffen in the single back set. And Mike Giffen has had to fight for everything that he's had to gain in this game, and just 2 yards on first down as we go down to DJ Bennett. DJ?
Mike, it's been a tough game, a physical game. You're taking a lot of hits, but you're starting to come back. How are you feeling, and how are the morale of the team?
I feel fine. We've been down before. First 2 games of the year against Ottawa and Laurier, we were down. So we just don't get down as a team, and we got to focus. We're already losing, so we just got to ball out right now.
You said you're losing, and we saw a little bit of no huddle. Will we see a little bit more of it, do you think, to get back into the game?
Yeah, we're going to have to. With like 2 minutes left in the quarter, 3rd quarter, we're going to have to keep going no huddle. It's worked a little bit, so we just got to tire them out.
Thanks, Mike. Back up to you, Tim.
Ballberg can't hang on to it at the 47-yard line, so the defense does the job for Mike Faulds. Forces another 2-and-out. And I'll tell you what, this Western defense deserves a Medal of Honor. The amount of time they spent out on the field, the positions that they've been put in, and they've responded. I mean, Mike Giffen's the nation's leading rusher. He's rushed 14 times for 24 yards.
No, they've done a great job holding Giffen on the rushing end. They've gotten a lot of bad field position off turnovers they've had to defend, and they've done a pretty admirable job to date. So it's up to the offense to pick it up now.
Village, the man in his face, gets it away. Butler, good field position. He takes it into the 40. Makes his way to the 50-yard line, a return of 9 yards after a 43-yard punt.
And you're probably wondering, some people are, why the Western offense went for 2 after the last touchdown. The reason they go for 2 is to try and close this to a 2-touchdown, converted touchdown game. Right now it's 23-7, would have been 23-9. It's a chance you take of trying to get into a 2-score game. So it's now a 3-score game, or however you slice it, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, but that's the reason why you go for 2 after the last touchdown.
Falls stands in the shotgun, again, empty backfield. Queens will only rush 4. Gives Falls time. Tipped and almost picked. Michael Botting made a great break to the football as he was battling with Nick Travail, and Botting remains on the turf.
Like you said, Tim, Botting does a good job breaking on the football in front of Travail. Queens elects to go with a bit of a zone rush. They drop their backers off in the zone. Force Falls to throw the football. At the end there, he gets caught up.
Oh, back of the head from his teammate, David Rooney.
Seems to be okay, getting off under his own strength, so that's a good sign. Now we have to watch Western as we see the knee right at the end of the play. Boom. That'll wake you up in a hurry. Now does Western go after the replacement of Botting? Now we're going to have to see how Queens lines up defensively here. As Jimmy Allen looks like he's moved to the short corner, and Sultana's moved to the wide field corner. So matching up Jimmy Allen on Bull, and Sultana back on the long field.
Falls was looking to that spot in Bull, but it wasn't available. He ends up finding Haggerty at midfield. It's a gain of 6 yards, but it's short of the first down. Call it 5 as they mark it at the 54.
Another tough throw by Falls. He's getting the Queens defenders are in the backfield in a hurry, force him to pick the ball up and run, and he actually throws the ball back against his body a bit here at the end of the play. McDonald upfield in his face. Bukwoma in his face.
Going for it on 3rd down, and they complete. Haggerty makes the turn at the 40-yard line. A big play for the Western Mustangs as Haggerty stays down on the turf, but not before coming up with an absolutely massive play for his team.
Great play by Haggerty on 3rd and long. It's a do-or-die situation. We talked about it being 3-down football. If they wouldn't have made the 2nd down going to their touchdown, now it's certainly 3-down football for the Western Mustangs, down 16.
Haggerty took a shot to the knee, and you never like to see that as we go down to DJ Bennett. DJ?
Yeah, Queens caught a little bit by surprise. They didn't think Western actually was going to go for it on the 3rd down play. They had guys running off the field and then running back on at the last second. They had no defensive calls in, and Western caught a big break there.
Well, you force your breaks, and that's what the Western Mustangs did, rolling the dice on 3rd down. But I'll tell you what, the play before that, what Western didn't notice is what you noticed, that they moved Jimmy Allen over to that short side of the field and played some press coverage on Zach Bull, and that forced the incompletion. So you see Pat Shane have to shuffle the deck on the defensive side of the football with some injuries of their own.
Yeah, they've watched the Western offense and Falls go after Bull to the short side on the small routes. Sir. They tried to do it again, but Jimmy Allen just had blanket coverage on him and has the speed to run with them when the play collapsed. And they put Sultana back in and moved him to the wide field. That's a long throw, and they'll take that chance with Sultana to the wide field. But short side, they're going to put a proven veteran on one of their top receivers.
Yeah, that's the grill. Zach Bull. Falls. The pump and go. Looking down the seam for Trombley in the end zone, knocked away. Again, this Queens secondary rising to the occasion, quite literally. There is a flag on the turf, and it will go against Western.
Another great play by a Queens defensive back, and at the last second, they do a fantastic job turning their head and knocking the ball away.
That's DePrado.
Holding on the offense, repeat 1st down.
DePrado again coming up huge when it counts most. And what I like about these Queens DBs is they're running step for step for the guy, and at the last second they're smart enough to turn away and knock the ball away with the proper hand and still have the other hand free to, just in case, grab onto the receiver.
Nearing the end of the third quarter. Falls on first and 20. Quick hitter. Hurdling a man is Bellamy. He was still on his feet. I'll tell you what, that was an alert job there to make sure that he was down. As we near the end of the third quarter.
Second and long here, second and 13.
See the final play of the third quarter. Falls. Flushed out of the pocket. On the run, throwing for Bellamy. Got it at the 25, to the 20. Inside the 10-yard line, the Western Mustangs have answered here in the third quarter as the hometown crowd has been silenced. And it's come behind the arm of Mike Falls, who has taken a licking but kept on ticking. And Western on the verge of putting up their second score in the fourth.
We kind of get an idea here of what Falls sees at the end of this play. Watch Bellamy come from across the field and end up behind Leeper. Leeper gets kind of twisted around and caught up. Bellamy comes wide open. That's the matchup that the Western offense wants. The receiver running against a linebacker.
And because of it, to start the fourth quarter here at Queens, the Western Mustangs are knocking on the door with a first down and goal to go. A sold-out crowd of close to 11,000 on hand. Tim McAuliffe beside a trooper, Mike Moriali, or maybe the wife is the trooper.
She is.
Lovely Jackie and Mike expecting their first very soon.
Very soon. I'm beelining out of here when this game's over.
And Western is beelining their way to the end zone. Lecky has made this a game with his second touchdown to make it a 23-13 lead. Do you go for two to make it a one-score game, Mr. Moriali?
I think either way you slice it, you take the kick here, because if you go, you're still in an 8-point differential with the 2 points. So it's still put yourself in a bind if you score later on to have to go for two. So try and close the gap here as much as possible and leave it to a touchdown, converted touchdown and a field goal to win it. But good job by the offense.
The extra point is good. And it's a 23-14 game. So 14 unanswered from the Western Mustangs. And Pat Shane knew coming into this that he wasn't going to hold Western to 1 point. In fact, he told us that his offense needed to put up points because he knew this Western offense was going to be able to click at some point.
That's right. They did a good job in the first half nullifying the offensive onslaught by Western, but they're starting to gain a little bit of momentum here moving forward, and they've scored in their last couple drives. So the Queens defense hasn't really played poorly. I think finally the Western offense have played up to their caliber and started to move the football. And good job of kind of switching around between little short runs. Falt's done a great job with quarterback sneaks and taking some massive hits, and his receivers have come back and caught the football, and they've converted on some long balls that necessarily, you know, would have went the other way, but some good plays in their favor.
So Wheeler will kick off, and all of a sudden this great crowd that was kind of thinned out after halftime, thinking that the team may have had it well in hand, is quiet. Terry on the return. He will take it out to the 30-yard line. That's where Danny Brannigan will come out and lead this offense as we take a look at the quarterback matchup, brought to you by Bel Air Direct Car Insurance. Visit BelAirDirect.com for a car insurance quote today. And Falls 42 attempts at the start of the fourth quarter.
And this number here is a bit misleading. He's thrown for 300 yards, but the scoreboard tells a different story. They're still behind right now, 23-14, but he's definitely put a good effort in throwing the ball, and that shoulder's going to be mighty sore at the end of this football game.
Brannigan a 1st and 10 from the 30. Pocket collapses. He will escape the arm of one Mustang. Is taken down after a gain of 2, maybe 3, and again collapsing that pocket is Vaughn Martin.
Yeah, Von Martin does a great job penetrating into the backfield, just getting enough of Brannigan to disrupt him and almost getting him in the grasp, and really gives us time for the rest of his teammates to rally around it. This is a huge offensive series for the Queens Golden Gaels. You can say it's a huge Queens Gaels, pardon me, and a huge defensive series for the Western Mustangs. So curious to see who comes out on top.
Need to sustain a drive if you're Queens right now. Brannigan over the middle of a collision, and it falls incomplete. Stinson got caught up with Kaiser. No flag on the play.
No, it looked a bit awkward, like he was being held up by Kaiser, but Stinson's not really reacting to a flag or anything like that, so possibly just a bit of an accidental interference. So that's what I'm talking about here. Somebody had to win that battle. Turned out to be the Western defense. Get the ball back in good field position and then see if they can mount a drive for their third touchdown today.
So Brannigan incomplete on 7 of his last attempts. The latest of which brings out Dan Village to punt. And again, Western should get good field position. Good kick from Village though. Chase Butler back to his 34. Stumbles. To the 40. You gotta see him to the 50. Runs into his own man. Cuts it back to the middle of the field. And Butler takes it all the way into Queens territory at the 46. After a 46-yard punt, a great return gives Greg Marshall in this offense some great field position.
And we talked to Greg Marshall before about Craig Butler, and Craig Butler, he said, is one of the smartest football players on the team and one of the best athletes too, and he certainly shows it here, winding and weaving to get some real good yardage and real estate and put themselves into Queens territory. So never count out a Greg Marshall coach football team. It's certainly showing right now.
Falls on 1st and 10. Sets up the screen to Lucky. Puts a hand down but keeps his feet as he will take it down to the 37-yard line. A gain of 9 on the play, and the body language even on the field has completely changed.
Totally different. They're playing with a lot more aggression and playing a lot more confidence right now. Good job by Leckie keeping his feet, and big play to put him in 2nd and short. This now is an opportunity that if you want to go deep. They've been converting on these all day long. Do you go deep over the top and take your chances right now, try and score quickly because they need a quick score, or do you just plunge ahead for the first down?
Going to take a shot. One-on-one coverage. Bull on Allen. Makes the reception, but he's out of bounds. Jimmy Allen with great coverage there, forcing Bull and the throw out of bounds as we go down to DJ and a couple more updates. DJ?
Yeah, things are good for the Mustangs with just under 12 minutes left, but on the trainer's table, not so good. Tremblay has 2 calves that are giving him some problems. He's cramping up. They're trying to ice him down. And Hegarty is out with a 2nd-degree sprain of the MCL. So now Nathan Riva goes in as the slot back.
And you can add Zach Bull to that list, DJ Bennett, as he is holding the knee and calf after that incompletion out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's probably a bit of a cramp in the calf area. Wasn't in terrible pain, but they lock up on you. They're tough to release, so they're going to work on him on the sidelines. But a smart play by the Western offense going for it on 2nd and short because they've converted the short yardage all day long with Falls just falling forward. So why not take the shot? Ball's a bit outside, and that's how it ended up. But now it's going to be interesting how Western's going to line up on offense. You saw Morrissey just enter the game for Bull.
A lot of white jerseys.
A lot of clean jerseys. So you know that these are the backup guys that have been itching to come in, and a couple new faces are going to get an opportunity to get in there in a hurry. Morrissey's in there. Jeremy Trader's in there.
On 3rd and short. We'll see if that gamble doesn't come back to bite. Western in the rear end. Trying to go with the hard count. They don't get a jump. They go with Falls. And he will cross the 35 and have a Western 1st down.
Good job for the 1st down. Moving the ball forward, sustaining the drive, and really Falls has done a great job just continuing drives, being confident. We talked about the confidence factor that we noticed among the Western offense. What they really got to do now is keep that level up with a couple of new receivers in there. He's really got to step in that huddle and say, guys, relax, let me run the show, we'll be okay.
They know how to come back. They did it in week 1 against Ottawa U with 22 points in the 4th quarter. They did it in week 2 on the score against Laurier, and they're trying to do it here at homecoming. Ball comes loose, and just as we say that Falls has got to be the steadying factor, he loses it, and the Gaels recover.
Just a huge play by Cuoma and the rest of the boys on the Queens defensive line. And the offensive line for Western had a major breakdown here. There was people all over the backfield. Sterling forces the fumble.
On the offense is declined. First down, Queens.
To make matters worse, he had holding against the offensive line. This kills a huge drive momentum builder for the Western offense, but the Queens defense has come up big all day long, and they continue to do so now.
D. Sterling can add another sack to his CIS leading total as Giffen. There has been nothing available from Mike Giffen. He lost 5 on first down.
Yeah, it's both defenses have come to play. There's no doubt about that. We just saw a stat pop up in the screen a little while. 6 turnovers for the Western Mustangs. The fact that they're still in this game and down 9 is a testament to how the defense has played. Really, they've really kept them in the football game. And points off turnovers, 21 points scored. Half the time they turn it over, Queens has put the ball in the end zone. That's a huge stat.
6-0 too. Huge. And Queens came into this game leading the nation in turnovers. Brannigan's been picked 8 times. Here comes pressure, and down goes Brannigan. Gershon Bailey, the replacement for Chris Greaves, buries the Queens quarterback at the 33-yard line.
Anytime you got guys coming in the game that are backups, backing up some of your big men up front, you need them to have a big game. And Bailey came through there to stall another drive for the Queens offense. And boy, this has been a defensive battle and a close football game. And thankfully for Western, the defense is helping.
So the defense celebrates on the sidelines. And it is literally unbelievable that they have turned the ball over 6 times and are in this football game.
I don't think I've seen such a lopsided turnover ratio, especially to none. I mean, Queens hasn't done anything in the turnover department to give anything away.
Time count violation against Queens.
Looks like they have the wrong personnel in the field. They're missing somebody. That's an uncalled for penalty, certainly.
On the offense,
it's enough to give your head coach some gray hairs or maybe some Tim McAuliffe-like looks on top. Which is bald for the uninitiated. Village. From the 38, Corey McNair. Still on his feet as he stretches across the 50-yard line. A 44-yard punt and a 13-yard return. A sold-out Richardson Stadium on hand to see the Queens Golden Gaels, the number 4 ranked team in the nation, lead Western, the number 2 team in the nation. A completion to Trader, good for a gain of 17 on first down.
So we talked about backups coming in and doing a good job. Bailey does a good job on defensively. Now Trader comes in and gets a very important first down for the Western offense.
It's his 2nd catch of the season. Didn't like what he saw. So he takes off and takes a big hit at the 35. He'll gain 7 on the play. I'll tell you what, they're going to start calling him Rembrandt the amount of times he's been on the canvas.
Very good one. But he's taking some massive hits. He's really playing with a lot of aggression, a lot of composure. He's hanging in there, trying to ensure this offense goes smoothly.
2nd and 3. Lucky the ball carrier straight up the middle. And just as he hit the first down marker, the Gaels shoved him back. It'll be close.
Yeah, good job by the linebacking core of Queens to come and step it up. I couldn't tell if it was Carter or Leaper. I saw a couple numbers with 40 in there that were stuffing it. We'll see another replay of it. Yeah, as Carter comes and sticks his nose in it, stops him short. 3rd down and 1. Big play here. They've converted so far, but with the game on the line, expect that Queens front 7 to really bring some heat.
3rd down and 1 for the Western Mustangs. Trailing by 9. And Falk might not have got it. There was some penetration there. And the Gaels believe they've turned it over.
Tough to see here, but boy, the penetration of the defense, and we have I can't tell who jumped over the top at the bottom of the pile. Huge play. You see Leaper at the end of the play. They're going to have to measure this one. You can only go to the well so many times.
And the same play.
As you saw, Sterling, the one-man wrecking crew, like Greg Marshall said, I think this is going to be Queens football.
They stretch out the chains, and it's Queens ball. Turnover number 7 for the Western Mustangs.
I can positively say now, if you turn the ball over 7 times, there's no way you should win a football game. 7-0. Opportunity here for Queens to add more points if possible.
But 9-point game, 8:42 left. The game's not over.
If I tell you,
shouldn't.
I know. If I tell you 7-0, you shake your head and there's not a chance.
Yeah. Ball game's done. But it's not. Brannigan to throw. Completes. Valberg breaks the tackle. Carapella finally drags him down. But a gain of 15 on 1st down for the Gaels.
Valberg's did a good job all game catching the ball. Very workmanlike game for Valberg today. No real huge plays, but he's been working 1st downs almost every time. Not his usual average per catch, but boy, has he been moving the sticks and making some tough catches.
7 catches, 80 yards for Scott Valberg, speaking to what you just said. And the Golden Gaels must feel like they have 9 lives. No! As they should have put this game away a long time ago. Josh Foster had a chance to get one back.
Yeah, they're still attacking Foster. This time he steps in front of the ball and does a great job knocking away from Valberg. But the timing that Brannigan had is just a 3-step drop, which I don't think even took 3 steps. Took about 1, but nobody was around him. He had time with the ball. It was a tight squeeze for him. But Foster reached the hand in there and knocked it away.
It's almost like his drops are limited. You're only allowed to drop 3, son. Brannigan stepping up in the pocket. Surla, he'll escape that tackle. Brannigan still on his feet. Inside the 45, down to the 39-yard line. A big 2nd down conversion for Brannigan and the Gaels.
And in the pocket, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. The amount of time he had to get settled in the pocket's big factor in him having time to turn this upfield into a huge gain.
25 yards.
He looked, he had 3 reads. He said, forget it, I'm using my feet. And boy, that could be the dagger right there that changes the rest of this ball game.
Surla had a shot. Just couldn't corral him down the seam. Carapella, closest man to that football. We talked about him climbing up the CIS all-time interception chart. Already 2 this year.
So a poor decision there by Brannigan. He didn't look off Carapella at all. Valberg did have his man beat, there's no doubt, to the outside as he beat Foster, but Carapella was just, he's always going to lean toward Valberg. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And he did on that play as well.
Valberg stays down, but Carapella, a stalwart in the back end for Greg Marshall, and you can see 20 interceptions on his career. Just 4 back. The all-time leader, Bob Coffin. And when you threw at him, you were digging yourself a grave.
Oh, jeez.
Couldn't help it.
Truthfully, Carapella had a chance to go into 2nd place there, tied for 2nd. Probably could have had that pick. But good job coming over and knocking the ball away. The loss of Valberg now is going to be pretty, well, he's up on his feet. He's coming off his own
Let's hope he's all right. He had a great start to the season.
Certainly. And the one thing we brought up earlier when we talked to Coach Shane is that all the receivers that got play as a team. So one goes down, he feels very confident they can all fill in and do a good job. But to date, to this game, Valberg has been fantastic, playing really, really tough football. And to date, he's been the leader in the CIS.
Following that long line of Queens receivers. Guys like Rob Bagg, who's in Saskatchewan right now, Ian Fleming, Craig Spear. Spent time in Hamilton, both those guys. Brad Smith. Even go back to James McLean, who in 2000 and 2001 was the first and second team All-Star.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were talking that of 8 of the last 9 years, there's been All-Stars and All-Canadians under Coach Sheehan's. You see the list there, starting in 2000 and 2007. So that's quite the list.
So 7:25 left in the fourth quarter. A 2nd and 10. We'll take it. We'll stay right here. 7:25 left in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 10 facing the Queens Golden Gaels as homecoming has slowed this game down. I've heard people complain about TV, but homecoming, that's a new one. A 2nd and 10, and a big one at that. With great coverage on Stinson, limits the gain to 5, and it'll be 3rd down, an interesting decision for Pat Sheehan from the 35-yard line. Do you go for a long field goal? Do you punt?
You know, I think they can afford to try the long field goal, in my opinion.
It's the 33 where they'll mark the football, so it would be a 40-yard field goal.
Yeah, they're going to go for the field goal right now, and probably a good decision. I mean, it's a makeable kick at 40 yards. If I'm not mistaken, Village is long at 42. So it's within, not much within the longest, but certainly he's done it before. So
I'm actually going to mark this back at the 41, Mike. Yeah, so give him a little extra room, maybe to avoid a block, which is the worst case scenario of the Queens. And there goes Allen. Inside the 25. And the Queens Golden Gaels. If they weren't golden before, they may be. After a big 3rd down conversion from Jimmy Allen.
Just a great job by the Queens special teams, who all day long have made plays. They went for the punt fake earlier on. This time they go for the field goal fake. Not a more perfect place in the football field to do it. Put the ball in the hands of Jimmy Allen, who's going to run his way. He's got the feet to run his way to the 1st down.
1st and 10 from the 13. Remember, the call play is different. Breaks the tackle. The camp ranked the 2nd of Surla. And the nation's leading rusher continues to be stymied.
You know, Giffin's got to look and say to himself, he's frustrated with the amount of yards he's putting up today. But when the team's winning, you know, you got to take the bad with the good. So it's one of those things. You got to play for the team. He's certainly not having a day he probably dreamt about before the game started. But they're up on the scoreboard and a chance to put some more points on the board. But I can't say enough what a difference the special teams has made in this game for Queens.
Brannigan to the outside, got him out wide open. Stinson, touchdown Queens.
Another great effort here by Brannigan, spreading the ball around and using his receivers. He's going to his left the whole time. Stinson's out in the flats. He's a big man to break down. Basically walks into the end zone, and this has certainly turned into a game where Western's got to get on their horse in a hurry to try and get at least some points back. As now they're down 15 again, close to be, soon to be 16.
Village will look to do that. And the 16-point lead, the exact number of Jimmy Allen, who picked up a big 1st down and may have handed Queens victory. Making noise once again at homecoming. Queen's second fake of the game. This time on a field goal, leads to a 12-yard touchdown pass from Danny Brannigan to Scott Stinson. And it is 30-14. Jonathan Hope, linebacker on the return. Twice an AUS All-Star as a returner. Takes it out to the 26-yard line. But you can't say enough about the special teams of the Queens Golden Gaels in this game.
Yeah, so you got to give credit to the coaches. Pack McMenamin, Gordon McClellan, and a good friend of mine, Pat Tracy, who's now the defensive coordinator on your left here. Pat was a special teams coach when I was with the Ticats, and you know what? They have certainly held their own today and dominated the special team battle without a doubt.
I don't know if you remember the conversation with Coach Sheehan. He told us that they needed to have a plus in the kitchen game to win this football game, and they've done just that.
You see Jimmy Allen there, who took the snap and used his feet. He's got some great speed, turned the corner, and made a huge play on special teams. It's nice when you have your starters on defense step in and make plays, play special teams, number one, and then make plays while they're doing it. And he's now at the short side corner here.
For 2nd and 6. Intended for Trader. That'll fall incomplete. And with 4:57 left in the clock, leave him out there.
Yeah, they looked like they were going to the weak side here, trying to attack the halfback and the cornerback, Jimmy Allen, and Zach Bulls pulled himself off the field. There's no way he's running. There's something wrong with his calf. He's cramping up, I'm sure.
3rd down and 6. Ball deep down the middle. Yeah! And it is knocked away. D'Andrea was there for the Queens Golden Gaels, and Western will turn it over again on downs.
You know, we talked off the top about the Queens offense of 600 yards a game, but the defense today has been phenomenal. We talked about the front four, we talked about the linebackers, but the unsung heroes today, the guys we thought they were going to attack, have come up huge in the defensive backfield, knocking balls away, making picks, and being all over the football field. So they've risen to the occasion without a doubt.
I'll tell you what, Western's about to become a bakery. 8 turnovers, and Giffen will exploit inside the 15-yard line to the 10, and for the first time, Mike Giffen has been able to stretch his legs.
He's got to feel a little better about that run. He's been waiting patiently all day long, and the defensive front of Western's got to be getting tired at this time. And Queens O-line has done a great job. It's not for a game-saving or touchdown-saving tackle by McNair. That was going for 6.
19 yards. His previous 16 attempts totaled 19 yards. And Giffen will get it again.
Mike Giffen picks up a few yards.
He'll grab a couple on 1st down.
Keep the ball on the ground, let the time wind down, get down pretty soon to the 3-minute warning. Really, they're in an opportune spot now to just run this football game out. If they score here, which they're going to come away with some points, there's no doubt about it. It really puts this game well out of reach.
They'd love to give the timekeeper a little rest right now.
For sure.
Chew up some clock. 2nd down. 1st down available inside the 1. Brannigan's going down at the 17, swarmed under, as Western brought everybody, including the mascot, on that play.
Yeah, they brought the house on that play. Carapella, Butler, Kaiser. There was nowhere for Brannigan to go, and you know what? Good play by the defense. Now limits them to a field goal try rather than a short touchdown play.
And the touchdown would end this for sure. 2-score game at 30-14. But it would become a 3-score game if Village can knock it through from 24. The snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick is good. Dan Village has just given the 4th-ranked team in the nation a 33-14 lead over the number 2 team in the nation, the Western Mustangs, and helped solidify Queens' opportunity to host playoff games here at Richardson Stadium.
Yeah, they certainly have, and you never count anybody out in Canadian football. There's a lot of time left on the clock, but the way that Queens has played today defensively, it's going to be hard-pressed for the Western offense to mount any sort of attack here, and certainly not a short and quick one.
Queens will go to York next week and then return here to face Ottawa at home. Dandy game. Here's that defensive line of the Queens Gaels. And I'll tell you what, Denny Piché might want to start studying them right now. Kyle McDonald with the sack, dropping Faulds back at the 27-yard line as we hit the 3-minute warning. The Gaels making homecoming a joyous one thus far. Unless, of course, you're Michael Faulds. Right now, that looks an awfully lot like the agony of defeat. As Faulds on 2nd and 13 can't pick it up. He made a great adjustment to the ball.
He certainly did. It's just been one of those days that, things just haven't fallen into place, especially on the deep ball. Almost a near catch and good adjustment. It's just one of those days.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. Close only counts. Maybe shaves. And let's hope you get back to your lovely wife. So it's not a close shave.
Yeah, some night. It's going to be OPP look out. I'm coming down the 4 line.
Falls on 3rd down. There's plenty of contact. And no flag comes out as Faulds look for Morrissey. They'll turn it over for the 9th time in this football game. Be fair, the last 3 have been on downs. But if you still go with 6-0 for Queens, the scoreboard almost becomes obvious.
Yeah, it certainly does, and testament to their defense for keeping them in the football game. Kudos to Queens. Certainly, they have played fantastic all game. I thought offensively, they did enough, if not more, to control the offense. And defensively, they're fantastic. Special teams are fantastic. There's your 2 wins right there. And, to be quite honest, they won all 3.
The offensive side of football, the Mustangs defense deserves some credit. And that's why they can't win all 3 phases of the game. But 2 clear-cut wins. And that's why they're up 33-14. So on a personal note, I want to wish you and your lovely wife, Jackie, all the best.
Thank you. We are anxiously waiting a little girl. It's supposed to be due tomorrow, but it seems like it may be coming tonight. So I will keep you posted.
I'll tell you what, a trooper. Thank you very much for hanging out here.
My pleasure.
And helping us through that. As Gifford tries to get something. And if you're Pat Sheehan, I know you want to get the nation's leading rusher a few more yards, but perhaps now is the time to get him out of the ball game.
Yeah, you don't want to take any unnecessary hits. I mean, Mike's a big boy, and he's used to it, but I understand what they're trying to do. No one else has really touched the ball in the backfield, so you don't want to be handing the ball off, creating situations where you might turn it over.
Timeout.
Western.
So they'll stop the clock with 2:30 left in the 4th quarter, and we'll take a break as well, as number 4 is about to beat number 2 in the nation. A picture says 1,000 words. So there's no need for me to say anything about that. Village from 38. And it is good. Make it a 36-14 game. A 22-point spread. The last time Western lost by 20 or more was 2004 versus Mac.
That's an amazing stat in itself. It goes to show you the type of program that Western has. They don't lose big very often. As a matter of fact, they're usually on the other side of the coin, but you're going against a quality football team, and the Gaels have really played well. And Greg Marshall's going to go back home after this game, study the game film, look back, self-scout, and say, where did we go wrong?
And the stat is always provided by our stats pin. Faulds completes to the outside to Nick Travail. Good for a gain of 7. So a day that started with a prank pulled by the young fellas at RMC ends with the last laugh going to the Queens Gaels. show their football prowess to the nation. And it'll be interesting to see how the top 10 breaks down in the CIS after this win.
Definitely. There'll be a little shuffle there at the top, and Queens is obviously moving up. Western will be dropping a few pegs, I'm sure, but you know, don't look at this game and then judge Western solely by it, because good catch there by Morrissey. Western's still playing football. Made some big plays, and this is what you don't want to see at the end of the football game, is guys laying on the turf.
We look at the CIS top 10, and it'll be interesting to see. Now, Laval has been the undisputed #1 the whole season. They get Concordia, but a 4-2 win could catapult Queens to #1. You could make an argument that that's available. Now, Concordia is 9 on the list, so it's not as if Laval's playing a pancake schedule. They got a tough go this week in Concordia.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to unseat Laval at 1, simply because, you know, of their history and what they've done, and they're still a dominant football team. But until somebody plays Laval or beats them, and they're not going to move from #1 anytime soon, I don't think.
You know, it's interesting because the same situation is being played out south of the border. And you'll see Alabama and Georgia lock horns. And I'll tell you what, if Alabama beats Georgia, you might have the same thing, although #1 USC lost, which allowed that move to happen.
It opens the door. The loss opens the door. Be interesting to see how Laval and Concordia end up
tomorrow
when they play tomorrow. So
I'll tell you one that I just saw flash by the ticker. Windsor beating Ottawa 40-38. And that is a big upset. Some people thought that after a softer schedule to start, the Lancers would fall off. But that's got to be their biggest win in a while. Falls looking deep for Morrissey. Comes back to the football, jump ball, and that jump ball won, as it has been all game long, by Queens and Jimmy Allen.
Jimmy Allen stepped up his game as the rest of his squad did on defense, and at the end of the play again, Falls takes a lick right in the chops. On his stomach now, on his back earlier, but way to get up. Good leaps by Jimmy Allen, and rips the ball away. They've come to play today.
And if you want to know the score of this game, just look at the turnover battle, because right now it's 10-0.
And I think that's a serious issue, obviously, in this football game for the Western Mustangs, but I truly believe they were beaten by a better football team today.
And it's a tough place to come. Homecoming, as Brannigan's throwing on first down, albeit from the shadow of his own goalpost, with 1:48 left in the clock.
Like we talked about at a few points during the game today, how the playoff picture is going to change. This certainly helps Queens going down the stretch to maintain first place and get the home playoff game, and so on and so on, now that Ontario is hosting the Churchill Bowl.
So that'll move Windsor to 3-2 on the season. Tipped and almost picked. You don't want to give them any. I know that there's only $1:44 left in the clock, but you don't want to give them any hope here.
No, you really don't, and I don't think Queens is being complacent. That defense of Western is a good defensive unit, so they're still bringing the heat. They're ready to play. They'll probably give up 2 here, Queens. Kick the ball off. They have a lot of points to give at 22, make it a 20-point game. It's still a 3-touchdown game regardless if you give up the safety or not.
Wonder if they'll just give up the 2 points here. I would assume so.
You just weren't listening to me.
It's actually trying to figure out the OUA standings.
You were doing math. That's what happened.
That's exactly why. They don't need to kneel. It'll go right over his head for the safety and make it a 36-16 game with 1:39 left. But there is now a log jam in the OUA standings at 3-2. And next week we're going to Ottawa to see Laurier and Ottawa. And you can put Windsor in the top of that group because they own the tiebreak with Ottawa with the win today. So things are going to get very interesting. It looks as though even with the loss today, Western should be able to hang on to the first round bye in the OUA playoffs. They'll get Windsor next week at home. And given the win, Windsor, who always loves to beat Western, and the wins are few and far between, will be jacked for that game. Then they get Toronto and Guelph at home. So Guelph, a team always dangerous. In the mix. It'll be an interesting end across the nation. It's West as Trader makes the catch. Trader's still on his feet, and I'll tell you what, everything's going Queens way. Jimmy Allen fell into that tackle.
Fell in and still managed to make the tackle from the stomach. And the boys are still playing on both sides of the ball. There's no giving up in any team. And that's what you like to see, because you just have to have faith at any given time in this Canadian football, brand of football. Anything can happen.
Another player down the field. You look at the out west, it's just as crazy. Manitoba, the defending national champions, struggling. Saskatchewan is the highest rated team, 2-1 on the season. They're number 6 in the nation. But it's been basically the same thing out west as it has been in Ontario.
You know, and you like to see that, though. You like to see parity amongst teams. You know, the haves and have-nots, they've closed the gap. And, you know, the big game that we're doing next week in Ottawa is going to be huge for both teams. And really, Ottawa has a lot more to prove than Laurier does at this point, coming off that loss to Windsor, who, well, by all accounts, you didn't think was going to pull it out.
Yeah. They might be a tad bit vexed as we go down to DJ Bennett. DJ?
Tim, one of the things that really stuck with me when I spent the week here in Kingston is a lot of the Queens guys said, hey, we want to make a statement across the country that we're a top-level team. And you're talking about the teams that are in that echelon. What do you guys think? Have they made that statement that they are a team to be reckoned with?
I believe so, DJ.
Yeah, with the way their defense is played and their special team come to play. I mean, what impressed me about their defense is the defensive backfield. With the young kids they have, they actually have done quite a bit today against a good offensive Western to shut them down.
3 first-year starters in that defensive backfield, and they shuffled the deck about 6 or 7 times with injuries, and Sultana struggling off the bat. But I'll tell you what, they've held Western in check for the most part in this game, as Faulds has attempted over 50 passes against them. He's gone for over 350, but
pass interference on the defense. First down.
Sultana remains on the knee.
The ball goes up in the air. There's a bit of a tussle at the end. People get twisted around. Definitely a good call on the interference. Sultana's hurt away from the play. And you know what? They did go after Sultana a little bit earlier on in the game, but you can't blame Western. He's a youngster, a freshman playing the position. But every experience he gets, bad or good, bodes well for the Queens defensive backfield, because, you know, you got to play. You got to get the fire. You got to play in the middle of it to really know and react later on in the future. So everyone's got an opportunity to do that today.
Some crazy scores across the CIS. This ball again is intercepted, and this one could go the other way. The cutback, Boschett, and Peter Boschett will take it inside the 30-yard line. Turnover number 11 for the Western Mustangs. Have you ever seen 11 turnovers in one game?
No, I really haven't. Boschett's going to come to the sideline, and he's going to get just hugs and congratulations for getting a chance to get in there and make a play. And really, you know what? When the plays needed to get made, the Queens Gaels have done it all day long. They almost doubled all season long. 6 turnovers for Western in 4 games. Today, 11. That's astronomical.
It's mind-boggling.
So they average 2 a game. Today they average 11. I don't know. It makes you laugh because you can't even talk about it.
Giffen busts it outside. Mike Giffen. And the homecoming party can begin
here at Queens. 29 yards for Mike Giffen.
A great run by Giffen up front. The Hoggies up front for Queens are still working hard, and I feel sorry for this Western defense because they are just plain tired. But I remember listening to Coach Marshall reading something that he wrote last week about the beating up they did on York, and you know how in the end you kind of learn from it. When he was at Mac and he was taking those lopsided losses, he learned what it took to be taken to the next level. So Queens wants to score points. I tell you what, someone's got to learn a lesson here, and unfortunately today it's the Western Mustangs.
This is going to look good across the papers.
You know, it's starting to get to the point where now the score is indicative of the turnover ratio. And earlier on, when it was a 9-point game, it kind of looked like
Did you see the score is indicative of the game, though?
You know, early on, I thought the score would have been a lot. I thought at halftime, Queens probably would have gone in with a bit more of an advantage, you know, in the 30-point range. And I didn't think the second half Queens played as well offensively. They've just worn down a Western defense that's been on the field too long.
So Mike Giffen with that 29-yard touchdown becomes the all-time Gaels touchdown leader with 31, passing Paul Coryell, who was a pretty good running back in his time.
Apparently he stiff-armed you in high school.
Butler to the 35. Yeah, Coryell played at Michael Power. Of course, played at mighty Senator O'Connor, who began the year this year with a win over Birchmount Park, a Scarborough school ranked in the top 10 in Toronto. But Coryell embarrassed me, and it was on City TV, which is a local Toronto station.
It's no score, so I mean, it's not like
no.
But it still hurts.
But my 3 older brothers push rewind about 17 times on the tape. I'll tell you that much.
We'll just make that into a CD now and pass it around.
And that's why I didn't play at university. Eric Wilson into the game, 9-yard carry for him. And the Western Mustangs will go back to the drawing board. There's no shame in this loss. And remember, a lot of the fire for the Queens Gaels came from last year's loss in the playoffs against Western. You wonder if Western can draw from that same sort of fire, because right now it looks like these two are the class of the OUA.
We talked to both coaches before the game. They said, you know what, we're going to meet up again somewhere. So the winner was going to lose and be upset regardless of how they lost. And if they're hanging their heads now a bit on the Western sideline, it's going to go away quickly because they got some games to play and you know, get back on track. And Coach Marshall's going to do it. But on the other flip side, Coach Sheehan has done just a fantastic job with his club. And they're well coached all around and certainly played very well today.
They are singing a Western now as the clock ticks under 30 seconds. And a homecoming celebration here for Queens. No kegs available, though, in the area. Did you read that?
No.
Yeah, at homecoming, no kegs because of past homecoming
exuberance,
indiscretions.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, exuberance, perhaps. Shenanigans. There are no kegs available in the Kingston area.
Wow.
In fact, our producer, Jay Sands, got a text from one of his buddies who's a Queens alum. He said, have fun at Queens. Jay responded by saying, how come you're not coming? He said, can't get a keg.
Spoken like a true alumni coming to see his former team play on homecoming.
I'm sure there will be a couple of 2-4s cracked open in the area after a big win from Queens. But we'll see them rise on the national top 10 and, more importantly, go to 5-0 on the season. As Eric Wilson continues to get some reps. Surprised we haven't seen Donnie Marshall into the game.
Yeah, I think, you know, especially with the hits that Faulds has taken, he's really played, you know, a tough football game. And on the flip side, Brannigan, I thought, played an excellent football game as well. He controlled the ball on offense. He used his weapons. He spread the football around. And at the end of the day, no turnovers.
So as Greg Marshall attempts to find a running back, perhaps Eric Wilson auditioning for that right now, as we are 2.5 seconds away from a joyous homecoming for Pat Sheehan and the Queens Gaels. They may have taken Golden out of their name, but if they keep playing like this, it just might be once more. Travail tackled at the 16, and that will do it. Queens 43, the number 2 ranked team in the nation, 16. As the tricolor can celebrate another victory, number 5 on the season, as they continue their march to home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So number 4 beats number 2 here in Kingston, as the Queens Gaels announced to the nation that they are among the very elite. 43-16 the final, and it all came from the defensive side of the football for the Queens Gaels, led by the defensive line that was relentless in their pressure of Michael Falls, harassing him into 4 interceptions and beating him up for most of the football game. So we have handed the Player of the Game award to, we'll call it a representative of that D-line, D. Sterling, who came into this game with 6.5 sacks, as we go to DJ Bennett. DJ?
That's right, Tim. I'm with D. Sterling and his sidekick. They call themselves Sexy Chocolate. D was the player of the game representing that front 4, but he made sure OC was with him. 11 turnovers. Talk to me about it.
I don't know, man. We played our balls to the wall there. And first of all, we're the Golden Boys. Second of all, yeah, we played our ass off there, and I think we deserved 11 turnovers.
OC, you know, a lot of guys told me that the defense wanted to make a statement to the whole country, not just the conference. He made quite a statement.
We did make a statement. Defense played well all across the board. We tried hard the whole game, and outcome speaks the story, you know? So the country better watch out for the defense, I guess.
Absolutely.
You heard it here first, guys. These guys are on the field for over 90 plays, and they're still talking smack. It's going to be a fun homecoming here in Kingston.
Yeah, and I think those boys can go enjoy it now, DJ, as they put their work in today. Just beating up Mike Falls the entire game, and Mike Falls just deserves a credit for getting up again.
He certainly does, and the defensive battle was won by the Queens Gaels, and it was won up front by the guys that we just saw there. In addition to a whole bunch of other guys that helped out, the DBs played really well. We mentioned that earlier on, and the linebackers as well. And you know what? They set the tone today early, and they kept on it.
Mikey, get home safely. Wish the wife the best from the entire SCORE crew. And good luck, buddy.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun today, and excited for next week as well.
All right, you can leave now, my friend. Head home to Ancaster. And the Western Mustangs will head home a little bit worse for the wear. 43-16 is the final here at homecoming in Queens. For producer Jason Sands, director Andrea Cucara, DJ Bennett on the sidelines, the expecting Mike Moriali and his lovely wife Jackie. I'm Tim McCaffrey. We'll see you next week as Laurier and Ottawa do battle, and that should be an absolute dandy. The tricolor homecoming is victorious.